people search websites that could sell data, and they'll do it for free.
I'm Chris Verlade with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings rebounded from Saturday's game to win 118-111 in overtime last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. De'Aaron Fox scored a team-high 32 points. Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray both finished with a double-double, and Trey Lyles led the Kings in scoring in overtime with 8 of his 11 points coming in extra time. Kings are off tonight. They'll be back in action tomorrow when they take on the San Antonio Spurs. You can listen to tomorrow's game right here on Sactown Sports. Bad news for the 49ers and Brock Purdy. It was announced that quarterback Brock Purdy suffered a complete UCL tear, and he will be out for the next 6 months. According to Adam Schefter, Purdy is looking for a second opinion to avoid surgery, but the team is recommending that he has it. It is 11 o'clock, and that means it's time for Deuce and Mo.
We are live! Happy Tuesday, Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. Appreciate you guys being here on this Tuesday. We have so much to go over today. Plenty of NBA trade rumors galore, but most importantly today, the Kings get a big-time road win in Minnesota, beating the T-Pups in overtime, 118-111. We're going to be joined by one of our favorites, Sean Cunningham. He always wears a hat. In fact, I think it's surgically attached to his head. Is that?
If he wasn't wearing a hat, I'd be freaked out.
Yeah,
You wouldn't recognize him.
Let's be honest. I have seen him take his hat off. Yeah, you would be freaked out.
What is that supposed to mean?
Because it's a little jarring.
It's jarring.
It is jarring.
You guys, if you ever say anything bad about my Sean,
no. If James,
you will die.
You don't want to hang out with me and Sean then.
On here?
If James Harden walked in right now and didn't have a beard, it'd be jarring, right? It'd be jarring.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I guess it'd be jarring if he just walked in. It'd be like, what is James Harden
why are you here?
That would be jarring.
Yes.
Anyway, he's going to be joining us at 1 o'clock today. We're going to have plenty of fun. We do want to hear from you guys on the YouTube page, too. Get the comments going in. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. It's a show that's on YouTube. It's a show that's on the Sactown Sports app. And of course, you can listen on the radio in your car, 1140 AM or 96.1-2 FM. If you're in the YouTube chat, the biggest thing you could do right now is hit the thumbs up button. All that does is help our channel grow. We should get that to well over 200 thumbs up today on the show. Morgan Reagan, after having a little sleepy time last night, I woke up feeling even better about the Kings win in Minnesota last night. I just felt like it was a gritty win.
Yeah.
You're playing the same team again. How do you adjust? We were wondering how the defense was going to look. For the most part, they played pretty good defense, except in that second quarter. You lose Sabonis with 53 seconds to go in the game. You give up a 4-point lead. It goes to overtime. I'm thinking bad things about myself.
For sure.
And the team. The Kings were able to get it done as Morgan has to just tie her shoe right now. Are you good?
Yeah, I was going to trip and fall and workers' comp already.
For the YouTube people, just so you know, and even the radio people listening, Morgan's doing a lot of gestures. She's all fired up. And then I just see her foot slam onto the table and she just randomly ties her shoe. The one thing you need during a show is you got to tie your shoes. You got to be careful.
Okay, 2 things. I'm standing up. Second thing, aren't you the one that says that you can talk through anything? Crowd noise, shoes being tied, anything, but you couldn't talk through a shoe being tied.
It was just really distracting.
It was
really distracting.
I'm super apologetic. Sorry. I will never do that, anything like that ever again.
Let's talk about what we witnessed last night, though.
Yes.
What jumped out to you when you reflect on last night's Kings win in Minnesota?
I would say the adjustments that were made was the number one thing that I look at in last night's game, and it excites me. We talked about this Saturday night after the loss. We go, okay, they're going to play the Monday. How are they going to respond? Blah, blah, blah. Yesterday, we talked about response. I think a response tells you a lot about a team, how a team adjusts after playing them twice, back to back, right? Because that's the type of stuff that happens in a postseason. And that's what you're trying to build toward. So for the Sacramento Kings to make obvious adjustments, not a fluky win, not like, oh, just because D'Angelo Russell didn't shoot as well, the Kings won. No, obvious adjustments were made. I love the response by the Kings.
And it started early. I felt like that group at the start of the game, super engaged defensively. They were communicating. I thought Fox at the point of attack was into Russell. Whoever he was guarding, he was into them. And I think that's the biggest takeaway I have just on this season for the Kings. They're not where they want to be defensively. They're 21st in defensive rating, but they have shown glimpses of, oh, you can see it. You could see it come together. They're never going to be an elite defensive team, in my opinion, with the pieces they have right now. But Mike Brown, this coaching staff, has somehow, some way taken a group of offensive-minded players and made them at times competitive defensively. And last night on the road, when they just got torched by Russell last game, when they got torched by Ant last game, they made Ant work. He still hit shots because he's a great player. He's a tough player. He was making some incredible shots. They still had some defensive breakdowns. It wasn't perfect. But if the Kings played that level of defense on a consistent basis, they're going to win games. And it was even offensively, it wasn't like it was a perfect night offensively. They start 1 of 14 from 3, but they were in the game because they were active defensively. They were attacking the paint. I just love what I saw last night.
How many times have we talked about with this team, like, man, if they're not shooting well, what else are they going to do great?
Yep.
And we saw last night that they are capable of doing other things well, right? And you look at their team defense, and not only what they were executing to start that game, staying vertical with Anthony Edwards. We mentioned this last night when we were talking about Domas Sabonis. He had a line drive and Sabonis stayed straight up and Ant went straight into him, but it was perfect. No foul was called, obviously, because it was good defense. There's a lot of moments like that. But then on top of that, you notice some more serious closeouts. We were talking about the loss on Saturday, how there was guys with a lazy closeout on D'Angelo Russell. Like, the respect was there. They understood what was at stake with this game. They locked in, stayed engaged. How many deflections? Harrison Barnes with 4 steals. They had a season high 15 steals as a team. That's some locked in stuff right there.
Yeah, Mike Brown, what do you think about the team's defense after the game?
I thought our guys defensively came out. That first quarter was probably our best. I know we held somebody, I think, to 8 or 10 points before, but just in terms of doing everything at a high level, challenging shots, being physical without fouling all it, it was probably our best defensive quarter of the year, if not our best for sure. Top 2, maybe top 3. So really good job coming out and setting the tone the right way.
They did set the tone the right way. You know, Minnesota scored 17 in the first. They did put up 36 in the second, but that was followed up by 28 in the third, 22 in the fourth, 8 in the overtime session. I was just really impressed with that type of defense, you know, because that's the type of game you're going to have to win sometimes, you know, and you just said it. And Mike Brown's talked about this too. Yeah, we can score 130 plus points a night and maybe win games. And they've lost games that way too.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen when your offense isn't clicking? What's going to happen when Kevin Huerter can't make a shot like he did last night, or Harrison Barnes gets off to a slow start offensively? How are you going to respond? Well, you need bench guys to come in and give you some points too, but you also need the activity defensively. They made Russell work even late in the game. Making Ant work, it was phenomenal.
Dude, the way that they made Rudy Gobert work there at the end. Trey Lyles, I know we're going to talk about him and his individual game coming up, but truly what he did as part of this team defense, when he had to come in, when Domas Sabonis was fouled out, and he had to be that anchor in the middle. He had to be that guy communicating with everyone. He had to be that guy holding Gobert holding his ground and making sure to just stay with Gobert. Yes, I am physically showing it on the YouTube chat because it was incredible what his strength was doing against a 7-footer. And I was just super impressed. That helped the way that they were able to manage the rest of the guys on the defensive end, the way that they rotated, the way that they trusted each other. If Trey Lyles did have to run out and someone at least was going to come over and front Rudy Gobert, it was all just really together.
Dude, Trey Lyles had 8 points in overtime, and it was great. I give Mike Brown a lot of credit for, all right, how are you going to handle with Sabonis fouled out of this game? What's going to happen? You know, Metu played 11 minutes last night. I didn't think Metu was very good, you know, and I think he's been up and down this year. I think what you saw last night is Trey Lyles make a serious case that he should be the backup 5. And I know it's not ideal, but what option is ideal for the Kings right now at the backup 5? I'm going to take my chances on the guy who can put the ball on the floor. He can dunk on somebody's head. Oh, and by the way, he's strong. He's got sneaky athleticism, and he can knock down a 3 last night. Gobert, you're right. He got him once on a pump fake coming out in the 3 and then jammed it and won. And then Gobert was late because Malik Monk collapses the paint. A beautiful pass to the corner, and Lyles hits a 3.
Yeah, there was some beautiful stuff happening for Trey Lyles on both ends of the floor. And Deuce, really quick though, too, I want to go back to what you were saying about Chimezie Metu, because we talk about him being up and down, and I think a lot of people go, yeah, but his athletic ability, his mobility as this big, he's athletic, he can be a lob threat and play above the rim. We saw a little bit of that with Malik Monk, right? And that excites a lot of people. And I would say he has that over Trey Lyles when you look at the two side by side. But what he doesn't have at times that we've seen, and at times he does do a good job of it, is that discipline. He doesn't take on what he's learned at practice and take it into a game. For example, let's just go to the offensive end. Ball is being swung around. He gets it wide open at the 3-point line, but he's wide open for a reason. And instead of trying to create and make the best shot happen, he takes the first shot. In those possessions, those opportunities, that's basketball IQ. And he's still not disciplined enough on that end of the floor. And then the defensive end, it's still at times he'll angle guys, and it allows them to find their way. The game's all about angles. They will find their way to the basket instead of just playing them straight up squared.
Yeah, and I think Trey, there's definitely some matchups that aren't good. There's no perfect solution. I think Mike Brown's been searching for that at the 5, right? We've seen a little bit of everyone, right?
Yeah.
You've seen Metu. You've seen Keita for a minute. Alex Len had a little tiny stretch where he played sparingly, right?
That? Yeah.
And now it's like, Trey Lyles, backup 5. You could see it. You could see how it would work out for the Kings if they have to go that route and play smaller.
Coach Keegan Murray was all about that as well.
Yeah. Here's what Keegan Murray had to say about Trey Lyles after the game.
Yeah, I mean, he showed that he can compete and be prepared to play against some of the best centers in the league. Rudy's a really good center, really strong, really physical, and Trey was able to match his physicality. So I think that just adds another element to our offense. I feel like we'll definitely look at that lineup for sure.
I just love he says, we'll definitely look at the lineup for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Keegan.
Yeah.
But he said, I was like, yeah, you can't really get mad at what he said. It's true. You should look at it.
And he was asked the question about it, right? and Coach Keegs is going to tell it to you straight. So, he, like you said, he's not wrong. I think a lot of people felt that after last night. Mike Brown did not really admit that, though, in his post game.
No, and we'll talk about that coming up here. We're going to be back in 1 minute, and we'll continue to talk about Kings, T-Wolves. Big win for the Sacramento Kings. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports, always live on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Thank you. Oh, hi, guys. I'm Derp. Derp on me. That's a derp on me. I
Derp
messed that up.
on
What's up,
Deuce?
YouTube chat? I see we get 230 people watching us live. That's big time. Let's keep that rolling. We're trying to grow this channel. So if you're in the YouTube chat, I see you guys chatting away about the Matisse Thybulle thing. We're going to definitely talk about that today on the show. Cole, Patrick, Frank. I see Charlie. Dylan's in the building with Joe. What is up, Roger and Tim? One of the OGs. Danny is here. Epic Arab. Yes. Paul. Johnny, appreciate you guys being here. If you're in the chat, the biggest thing you could do right now is hit the thumbs up. We should get that to 100 in the next 5 minutes. Let's get to 100 thumbs up in the next 5 minutes. All that does, by the way, is help the channel grow. It doesn't like inflate my ego. All it does is help this channel get more exposure. So people, Kings fans from around the world, sports fans know we're live 6 a to 6 p.m. here on Sactown Sports. What's up, Primo? Tony?
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Kings lead 112-108. Fox stutter step, drives right on Gobert, lobs it up and in over the outstretched arms of Gobert. Brilliant play by Fox. Fox now has a 30-point game, and for De'Aaron, it is the 13th time this season for him to score 30 or more.
Another monster game from De'Aaron Fox, and we haven't even mentioned his name, and the show just started at 11, but we have not talked about him after a Kings win. The guy was outrageous. This game was important, I think, for his all-star case, just the narrative around it. I think he's made a legit case, but there's a lot of talk that maybe Anthony Edwards could be weaseling his way in there in the all-star conversation. I think he should. Anthony Edwards, to me, is an all-star level player.
Yeah.
He's been awesome keeping that Minnesota team afloat with all the injuries. They got off to a slow start. But De'Aaron Fox last night, what I loved about that game from Fox Morgan was what we saw against Minnesota in the first game. Where was he quarters 1 through 3? He wasn't aggressive enough. And people on the broadcast, I heard Keegan on the broadcast going, hey, he looks a little tired tonight. His shot is short.
From what?
Yeah. And then fourth quarter, he explodes for 21 points. I'm going, wait, I thought he was tired. So I wanted him to come out aggressive from the start. He did just that in that game against Minnesota, and he kept it going the entire game. He was getting to his spots. He's playing at such an elite level right now. He's going ahead looking for mismatches. He's getting to the midi. He's hitting a big step back three. And then that last highlight, attacking Rudy Gobert with confidence, slowing him down for the bucket. Fox is feeling it.
Let's talk about that. That change of speed right there in the key. His ability to control his body, but also his feel for the game has gone up to a whole nother level. And it's been so fun to watch because not only are you seeing it right there in the fourth quarter, performances of a lifetime, you are seeing it now, quarters 1 through 3. And that excites the hell out of me, and it should excite the hell out of you. Wow.
And then closing time, not the segment we do at the end of the show, but closing time, he's going to step up in a big time way. Final 2 minutes and 36 seconds of this game, a close game, he scores 8 points. He took over late. He was kind of quiet for most of the fourth. 2.5 minutes to play. He gets it going again. And the clutch numbers are legit. Like he's putting up some big time numbers. It's not fluky. The one thing I would say about Fox and the Kings in late game situations, especially with Sabonis fouled out of this game, I feel like at times they rely so much on Fox, which is great. I want Fox to do his thing, get his looks because he can take over a game. But I know you pointed this out to me, talking about Keegan at one point last night.
Yes.
They're moving the ball around, and Keegan wasn't even a threat. He didn't look like he wanted to go out there and score the ball. He went right to Fox instead. And it's like, no, you still need to be a threat. You need to make the defense work, keep them on their heels, make them collapse. So it makes life easier for Fox.
The ball was moving around the perimeter, like you're saying. And instead of Keegan, when he got the ball at the top of the key, taking a look at the basket, at least even looking like a threat, right? Squaring up, he just kept his body turned and then swung it the other way to get it back to Fox. When you're doing that, you're just telling the defense, like, we don't want none of this. We don't want to be a part of this. This is for our guy to go do his thing, which is going to make the defenses collapse and obviously pay more attention on him. You have got to be ready. You have got to be a threat. That would be my one biggest knock on Keegan Murray last night with just even that possession. But I think looking at De'Aaron Fox, you talk about him in the clutch moments. It wasn't only the way that he was attacking Rudy Gobert and getting into the paint wherever he wanted, the finesse coming off of his fingertips, understanding where he was on the floor. You look back when it was he had a step back three to make it 99-98. Kings go up with 2 minutes left, but that step back three, it wasn't only the way that he created something out of that possession. It was the way that he shot with so much confidence that his teammates knew they could be ready if he was going to drive and dish, but also that, we can rely on you to make that decision.
Hey, De'Aaron Fox, seems like you're really getting your shot, man.
It's the same as always. Try to get downhill and create, something, if it's a bucket for myself or if I'm kicking it out to a teammate. For me, it's like I've always, no matter the defender, I kind of always look for the smaller guy just because, you have someone like Jaden McDaniels, especially for me, I mean, it's hard to shoot. I can't really just shoot over him like that. So just trying to be able to not necessarily find a mismatch, but for me, it's find someone my size who doesn't have a 7-foot wingspan, and then it's just trying to pick a spot and get to it and just be able to raise up and shoot over them.
Yeah, and he still hit shots over guys that were much larger than him. We have some breaking news at this hour, Morgan.
Whoa! Where's our breaking news?
I've got it right here.
Got it.
Breaking news.
I love it.
Keegan Murray officially in the Rising Stars game.
Yeah!
I mean, not really a surprise. It wouldn't be like, hey, guys, breaking news, he's not in the game. That would have been crazy. Keegan Murray, we were just talking about him, something he could do better. I thought Keegan last night. It was huge for Sacramento. Had a double-double. What he did on the glass, he had 13 points. He had 13 rebounds. 6 of those were offensive rebounds. The challenge that Mike Brown gave him was go get the rebound. Go get some boards, man. Go do something.
And ever since.
And then he had a big shot in overtime, that big corner three Monk set up.
Dude,
for him.
It's been well-deserved, right? First of all. But I think sometimes we are not really soaking this in, you guys. We in Sacramento have a 6'8" rookie who is shooting efficiently. Such a pure, beautiful shot. But on top of all of that, you're seeing the way that he is crashing the boards. And how many times have we talked about second chance opportunities for other teams and that the Kings need to slow down other teams in those second chance opportunities? Well, last night, Keegan Murray was just a huge part of the Kings' success in just getting them more and more possessions, getting them more looks. It is your rookie doing things on so many different levels.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, he's playing good for a rookie.
No,
he's having a really good year, one of the better shooters in the league, and to trust that jumper. And now he's had a couple of games now where he's getting some nice looks around the basket, dunking at home. Those were plays earlier in the season. He was getting blocked a lot. I mean, I could not believe how many times he's getting blocked early in the season because he's going up so soft. That's the type of things you just want to see improve. Like, you're looking for growth. All right, is a rookie coachable? Okay, yeah. Does he want to get better? He has taken on challenges. He hasn't shied away from criticism. He's gone and really helped this team in a big way. Had a huge January for the Kings.
You also mentioned something about him showing some serious emotion last night, right?
There was one play he was upset where I think it was when he was trying to get the Kings thought they had a steal and then they called him out of bounds with the ball and he didn't totally have possession. And he definitely said something to the official, but it was like the calmest thing ever. Oh, it was a bad call. That was a mic'd up, I think.
That's good. That was the mic'd up, actually. Yeah.
I think you got that wrong. So, like, do better.
Don't team up, refs. Don't team up.
I think you should check that again.
Wait, was that Keegan Murray? That I don't.
You're gonna regret this when you look at it later. So
Keegan number 2.
I think you should be in better position next time.
I'm happy for him to be in the Rising Star. The game is just fine. It's just cool to see your rookie in the game, and he'll. I mean, honestly,
what
I think he should be the 3-point shootout. I know they're pushing Kevin Huerter to be in that, and I think Huerter has a legit shot to be in the 3-point shootout. I think Keegan Murray does too. I mean, he should. I don't know if he's actually going to get it, but I think he has a legit case to be in it.
Yeah, he's, shooting so efficiently from not only does his shot look so pure and smooth, like we keep talking about the fundamentals of it, but it's going in, right? And I think he's attempting 6 per game, I believe is the number. It's great to see him shooting with confidence. Shot selection has been great, but then also his ability to get to the rack. And now we're seeing him go more and more with authority. I'm so glad that he's in this game, that he's going to shine and represent Sacramento.
Something else we need to talk about today. I found some incredible defensive numbers for the Sacramento Kings.
Really?
The difference in their defense at home versus the road. It's kind of staggering.
Okay.
And we need to figure out, like, how do we explain it? I don't know if there's a way to explain it.
Okay.
So we're going to try to do it. Also, we want to hear from all you guys. I love that the YouTube chat's popping. You guys are firing away. Keep it going. Of course, the show stays live. Oh, what is that? That's we got 100 thumbs up in the YouTube chat.
Let's go!
That's but can we get the 200?
Yeah, it's a better sounder.
Can we get the 200? Let's get to 200 thumbs up so this channel can grow, so more people get to see what we're doing here on Sactown Sports. So coming up next, we'll talk about those weird offensive defensive stats that are kind of shocking to look at, and we try to figure that out. Also, hit us up. Call us 339-1140 or 1-800-920-1140. It's Deuce and Mo. The beam is lit in my mind on Sactown Sports. Hi, YouTube chat. Let's see what they're talking about in here. Does Keegan retire from the NBA without getting one technical foul? That's funny.
No. There'll be a moment. And when that moment comes, I'll be the proudest person ever. The proudest.
You sound like a parent.
I know. And that's why I didn't want to say proud parent, but like, I truly would be so proud. The proudest fan ever.
Joe says, you ever watch Chris Murray interview? Sounds exactly like Keegan, but a couple of beats and fast forward. Joe, can I just say that is a great description. That's hilarious. Someone keeps getting dog hair all over those chairs. You know what? That's a great point. I'm noticing the dog hair. Are we bringing dog hair into this building?
Wait, who said that?
Someone in the chat. You probably noticed it on camera. I don't know.
Really? You guys, my jacket is like feathers and white stuff keeps coming out of it. So yeah, I don't know.
Crazy.
I mean, it's been cleaned.
We also need to talk about Matisse Thybulle at some point.
Yeah, whenever we feel like it.
Charlie was mentioning that Thybulle didn't make 2 all-defensive teams for nothing. I think he struggled to shoot from the left side of the court, but is solid from the right side, which work well with lefties like Sabonis and Fox. That's Charlie digging into the tape. He's watching some hoops.
I want to talk more about this game from last night. I think some individual play, Trey Lyles, Harrison Barnes, that, and then and Monk. Oh my God, we still got we got. And
let me be honest about something.
Yeah.
This is my least favorite thing about doing a show with the breaks.
Say it.
Is because I just feel like
the flow
changes and you go, oh yeah, we haven't even talked about Fox or a Monk or whatever. And maybe that's more on us than anything, but it feels weird.
Yeah, no.
But we'll get to the offensive and defensive numbers, road versus home, just for fun.
Okay, cool.
Tim saying, I'm loving Lyles lately. So solid. Dude, he's been really solid for the Kings this year.
What up, Tim?
Kyle said, would you say it's Keegan season? Sure.
Keegan season.
I think we're going to hit 200 thumbs up before noon.
Dude,
I do.
That's
the confidence I have in you guys today. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on this channel too. We grew one channel, our Deuce and Mo channel. We're going to grow this one too.
Yeah.
All right. Because this is our daily show. Let's keep it moving. What's up, Andrew? The Real says dream trade target would be PJ Washington. Yeah, it's not a bad call. I like him. I do.
Patrick,
like him.
You're the best. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Patrick.
Triple
J Sharf says might be interesting to ask YouTube viewers to state where they are located. Reno for me. Yeah, let us know.
I like it.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Is she calling in?
Yes.
Dude,
we are going
Lorraine.
to. Yes. Lorraine Fox, De'Aaron's mom.
She's so cool. I love her.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Dude, she's a badass.
Shout Missouri in the building. Shout out Dylan watching in Madrid, Spain. Thank you, Sactown Tony.
Oh my God, I can't wait to hear
Sacramento
her breakdown of De'Aaron's game.
Oh, this is going to be great. West Sacramento from West Side Kings fans. Seattle in the building. I'm going to be in Seattle next month or later this month. It's February.
Heyo.
Our Isaiah Hartenstein is Sabonis light. Let's not go that far. I do like him, though. Antelope in the building. All right, stand by, guys.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings rebounded from Saturday's game to win 118-111 in overtime last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. De'Aaron Fox scored a team-high 32 points. Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray both finished with a double-double. And Trey Lyles led in scoring in overtime with 8 of his 11 points coming in the extra frame. Kings are off tonight. They'll be back in action tomorrow when they take on the San Antonio Spurs. You can listen to the game right here on Sactown Sports. Bad news for the 49ers came out yesterday. It was announced that quarterback Brock Purdy suffered a complete UCL tear, and he will be out for the next 6 months. According to Adam Schefter, Purdy is looking for a second opinion to avoid surgery, but the team is recommending that he has it. It is 11:28. This time check is brought to you by West Coast Men's Health Acoustic Wave Therapy.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sactown Sports.
Here's a corner three on the way, and it's an air ball long from McDaniels right into the hands of De'Aaron Fox. Accelerates. He's going strong. Into the lane. Two-hand flush off the dribble. Puts the Kings on top. Boy, Fox went with authority that time. There wasn't any silly stop and pop, pull up 8 to 10 foot range. That time he went thundering to the rim.
Fox with 32 points in 41 minutes. Most importantly, the Kings improved to 28-21 with that overtime win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm Juice Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. It's Deuce and Mo. We're still getting messages from people going, wait, you guys are back doing a daily show? Sactown Sports? Yes, we are. So if you're just tuning in, yeah, you're driving around. No, we are live. And we are always staying live, even during breaks on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. So you could join us there like so many people from around the world. We got Dylan watching from Spain. We got people in Reno. We got LA. We got Missouri. They're worldwide because Kings fans roll deep, and we appreciate you guys being here today. We'll get to this weird stat, a puzzling stat with the Kings offense and defense, but you can always hit us up, 1-800-920-1140. Let's talk to Lorraine here. Lorraine, by the way, is De'Aaron Fox's mom who's checking in. I love that she's randomly calling in. What's up, Lorraine? How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on? I mean, okay, I couldn't wait to ask you how you felt about your son's game last night. Can we get a Lorraine Fox breakdown?
Yes. Okay. So I was really glad that he didn't wait till the fourth quarter to play. I enjoyed that he played the whole game. So that was exciting. Mm-hmm. But the Kings had me nervous the whole game. My heart is like palpitating like the whole game, like every game. No matter what time the Kings come on, I'm gonna watch the whole game. Other teams, I'll start watching and then I'll fall asleep and then they'll go to a timeout and then the timeout takes too long. So when I wake up, the game is over. But whether the Kings are losing or winning, I cannot turn it off. I'm like, no matter what time they come on, no matter how good they're playing or how bad they're playing, I watch every single second of every Kings game.
Well, it's been fun this year. I do have a question because you just mentioned something about, hey, you luck that he did something. He didn't wait till the fourth quarter. He came out aggressive. Okay, you have to be honest. Do you ever like text him or call him and go, hey, De'Aaron, you need to be more aggressive, or do you just let him figure that out? Do you kind of keep that separation?
I just let him figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even text after a loss. I used to text after even a loss, but now it's like, I'm not. I only text when it's light the beam.
Yes. Lorraine, I mean, for people that don't know too, Lorraine Fox, hooper all of her life, understands the game obviously at a high level. How fun has this been for you this season, watching not only your son, but his team as well, doing so many great things this season?
I have been excited since even when I was listening to you guys during the summer before the season even started. Got a little nervous when they lost the first 4, but we just chalked it up to they just got to get used to playing with each other. And so when the light acts, because, I'm a breast cancer survivor. So they first win this year against Miami was doing my breast cancer party that night.
Wow.
That was their first win. So I had to pause my audience and say, hey guys, the Kings finally got their first win.
That's amazing. I'm wondering for you, I mean, obviously he's your son, but man, I just, we've been here since he was a rookie when he was 19 years old. I've just seen the growth from him, not only as a player, but just as a person.
Yeah.
How different do you see your son as a person, from a maturity standpoint, from his first year in the NBA out of Kentucky to now?
Well, I think that as a person, his just the maturity of everything is not on me. I don't have to take it all on me. I've grown in my performance, but I also can appreciate the teammates that I have around me. So it doesn't have to be all on me, and I'm not gonna make it be all on me. Now, I'll take over in the time of the game when my team needs me to, but I'm not gonna be. I don't want to be. I don't have to be that guy all the time.
Yes,
because I know I got help around me, and this is the best help that I've ever had.
Oh, it is.
I'm going to put her on the spot.
I
now.
was going to ask her one thing about. Okay, go.
All right, I'm going to ask you put your son aside. Who's your favorite player on the Kings besides your son? You have to pick one.
Of course, Sabonis.
Okay.
I like Malik because we grew up with Malik with AAU, and then they went to school in Kentucky together. But Malik be making me nervous.
Yeah. He does it to all of us, Lorraine.
It's like, come on, Malik. Calm down, Malik. Oh, Malik, don't pass that. Oh, Malik, I saw the defender there 20 minutes ago.
Oh my, I'm so glad you are just like all of us. This is the most relatable conversation. Thank you so much. Wait, but Lorraine, I have one more question for you, because I know a lot of our Deuce and Mo podcast listeners have seen your name in the chat, and they're like, wow, Lorraine Fox is here. And for Deuce and I, we love breaking down the game, and we try to break it down fairly. Are there ever times that we're saying things about your son that you're just you want to come through the camera and you're like, that's not true, or he's doing fine? Or are you more no, they got a point there?
No, yeah, they got a point there.
Okay.
I haven't heard you guys say anything that wasn't correct. No, so I'm not just saying where, oh, my child can't do no wrong, blah, blah, blah. No.
You're such a
when
good
you're
mom.
telling the truth, you're telling the truth. It doesn't matter who it is.
You're the best.
Well, I'm so happy that you're able to enjoy this Kings team, and De'Aaron's having a fun year. Hopefully he makes the All-Star team, and we hope we see you at a game soon. All
righty. Well, I have something in the works maybe in March, but just because they're not at home in February, so it serves no purpose. But I'm getting honored by I'll be aware in March.
Great.
So I should be in SAC for probably about 2 or 3 days in March.
Okay. And I should also early congrats, another grandbaby on the way. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Can't wait. Wait.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for calling us.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Lorraine.
Okay.
So cool. Is she not so cool? Dude, breast cancer survivor, baller, just calls in, relatable. Could you be any cooler?
Whenever a parent calls in, though, you get a little nervous. We get a lot of parents who listen to our show, watch our shows.
We do.
It makes me nervous because, you just want to, we try to be fair, but it's their child, and you were critiquing them.
Facts. And that's why whenever obviously the Keegan Murray impression comes on and people are like, are you clowning him? Never. It's all in fun. Yeah. And if for some reason he ever had a problem with it, which he wouldn't, we wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? We humanize, we are fair. And I love that Lorraine even had got to say that about us, because that's truly like we've been
You
critical.
needed that? You needed that? You needed to feel that?
But I'm always curious what a parent feels like when you are criticizing their child's game. But like baller parents understand. Like they are like, hey, if you're being fair, fine. You can break it down how you need to break it down. Lorraine Hooper.
It was great. Her randomly calling in. That was awesome. Someone over under was mentioning, could it be the Mo and Lorraine show?
Oh,
she was great. So kick me off. Okay.
Let's
Mo. Dump on Deuce.
Mo and Mo.
She did say light the beam.
Did she?
And this is new to the show.
Oh, what do we have?
So you know what that means.
Oh yeah.
Fire the laser.
Oh, okay. All right. I like it.
Chris!
That got me because I heard the Morgan fire the laser into kind of a weird sounding laser that sounded kind of disappointing, and then boom, this song comes out.
Yeah. Oh, well done.
We'll take it.
Well done, Chris. Chris is the best. He's so good at this.
All right, coming up next, we're going to continue the show on the YouTube feed, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. But I got to get to those offensive defensive numbers, staggering numbers involving the Kings defense at home versus the road. We'll talk about that. Plus, we got Sean Cunningham joining us at 1 p.m. So much to get to on Sactown Sports. YouTube people. Oh, let's go.
Dude. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Over 300 people are here live.
300 people here live, but we only have 182 thumbs up.
Oh, God.
Get to 200. Let's get to 200. We have not had a show since we have returned to this station where we did not get 200 thumbs up. And all that does is help this channel grow. That's all we need.
That's all we need. All we need. Whoa,
so Lorraine called me. She's like, hey, this is Lorraine Fox. I'm De'Aaron Fox's mom.
Yeah.
Just want to say I listen to Deuce and Mo. It's so great. I watch them on YouTube all the time. Now I'm listening to them on the radio. I love it. And then I said, oh, that's wonderful. You need to come on with them.
So you booked her on the show.
I did.
Oh, good job. Good job.
Producer of the year.
Yeah.
Chris Verlod. Dude, thanks for saying that.
That's cool.
No,
she was great too. I loved how honest she was about Malik Monk.
Because she's known him forever, right? Like she knows his
She was
game.
all of us.
Yeah.
He is a roller coaster ride, but he was awesome.
And that's why I'm excited to talk about him coming up too, because it's like that was one of the individuals I really wanted to hit on, his energy, what he provides, especially in games like this.
Oh my goodness. Before noon. We're 20 minutes before noon, and we hit 200 thumbs up.
Oh, I think we're waiting. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah,
I did the whole thing.
And I was ready.
We thought he was playing the thing, and that's why we did the whole
We got excited, and then we were
and we got crickets.
I thought that was an on-air type of.
No, you're right.
I just
we're new to this. We get breaks.
Yeah.
And air quotes.
We always keep the show rolling on the stream, so it's like it doesn't stop. Cool in the chest is Keegan with 6 offensive rebounds is what I'm talking about. No, that was sweet. Nick Cattle's in the chat. Shout out to Verlod, who kept his concentration doing his update while Morgan is dancing in studio. That man is focused.
Dude, that's just ready right there. I'm just preparing him for big times.
Taking a shot at me for being distracted in a weird way.
By my shoe.
Yeah. I think Cattle's is going at me a little bit.
As he should.
Hey, by the way, Cattle's, if you're still watching, Morgan put her shoe up on this, okay?
No, it was a quick oh God, I'm going to trip and die.
Bring your hazmat suit, your disinfectant, your power washer, and take it to the studio.
They're my Air Force Ones. They're clean.
Joe says only chance Keegan gets Rookie of the Year over Banchero is if the Kings make second round of the playoffs with healthy contributions on his part. Yeah, it's a regular season award though. That's the thing, and I don't know when voting actually takes place, but you can't really factor in if Keegan does anything in the playoffs. If the Kings finish strong in this last stretch of games and he continues to play a big role, I think he is going to be more injected into the conversation. But it just feels like the media made up their mind on Banchero already. But you just never know. There's plenty of games left.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I think no matter what, it's going to be Paolo Banchero just because the narrative, but then also because of his role with Orlando. And then you're seeing Orlando pull out some big wins, which is just giving them more of that, like, wow, how cool are they? They're beating the Sixers. They're
Do
beating
not get me
Boston.
started on Philly.
Ooh.
All I saw on social media over the weekend was, look at Embiid against Jokic, man. MVP, Sixers, they're legit. The next game, they lose to Orlando? I'm not in on the Sixers. I'm not. As a championship team, they are fragile to me. I like pieces on their team.
On the Sactown Sports app.
Here's Monk driving, plants in the paint, spins, kicks it out to Lyles. Eludes Gobert, drives strong, two-hand flush off the dribble, thrown down by Trey Lyles, and an over-the-shoulder foul call on Rudy Gobert as well. 3-point opportunity for Trey Lyles as the Kings now have a two-possession lead at 111-106.
What a dram! A dram.
What a dram!
By Trey Lyles. He was big for Sacramento last night in their win over Minnesota, 118-111. But before we get to those staggering numbers I keep talking about with Kings defense on the road versus at home.
Yeah.
We just hit the milestone today.
Oh.
We ask for it every day. We got to get to at least 200 thumbs up. The streak continues. Every single day we've been on this new show, we've hit 200 thumbs up in the YouTube chat. Today, we've done it before noon. 200!
Come on, make thumbs go up. Make them go up, up, up.
Big time stuff. Appreciate you guys. And that just helps the channel grow. So keep that rolling. In the chat, Israel had a problem with what I was saying about the Sixers. He said Philly beat the Kings without Harden and Embiid, so I don't know why this dude is talking trash, crying emojis. Hey, don't get all offended by it. I'm just saying the Sixers fans are pretty loud and they lost. I'm not over here saying that the Sixers are worse than the Kings.
Not at all.
So don't get that offended.
We
right?
understand how good they are,
Yes.
and that's why whenever we do talk our smack, it's because one day we want to be that good too.
Yes. Hey, look, we also, here, Sixers fan, let's play a game.
Well, okay.
We're going to play a game. Who has been in the conference finals more recently?
Yeah.
The Sacramento Kings
Or
the Philadelphia 76ers?
what's the answer?
The Sacramento Kings.
Troll!
Okay. I'm done trolling. I like this. I love Embiid. I'm done hating.
We're
having fun.
Nothing but garbage, yeah.
We're having fun. All right, I want to get to the most bizarre King stat.
Okay.
I was looking at some numbers today, reflecting on the month of January for the Kings. In the month of January, number 1 in offensive rating, number 16 in defensive rating. That kind of blew me away.
Yep.
But then you start looking at home road numbers.
Okay.
The Kings' defensive rating at home is 28th in the NBA.
Woo.
Near the bottom.
Yeah.
The Kings' defensive rating on the road, 6th in the NBA. Overall in the season, they're 21st. Home, 28th. Road, 6th. How do we explain this?
Well, I don't have all the answers, except
I want some theories.
okay,
though.
here's one theory. We heard Fred VanVleet and the Raptors come in and say how much they wanted that one against the Kings. And I feel like
tough atmosphere.
there's a lot of teams that come in really ready now against the Sacramento Kings. It isn't a Draymond Green Tuesday night. You just fly over the Kings, whatever. We don't care. It's, oh no, we want to make sure that beam don't get lit. We want to make sure to shut that crowd up. And teams are coming in and going at them hard while the Kings aren't doing a good job protecting home court when it comes to the defensive end.
The other thing, too, the Kings at home have the number 1 offensive rating. On the road, it drops to 14. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why, and maybe teams get more up for it. And maybe the Kings fall into this trap, too, where it's like, hey, it's more fun to get up and down the floor. The crowd gets super engaged with it. We're just kind of getting sucked into the environment. It's been a really good environment at Golden One Center. I just think that's staggering. It's not like those are a couple of spots of difference. We're talking 28th defensive rating at home, 6th on the road. You'd almost think that would be reversed in some ways.
Well, and that's where my brain goes, right? It's like, well, wouldn't you usually another team be able to protect their home floor, dominate, and execute things, especially on the offensive end? Doesn't look like it against the Sacramento Kings. How is that working? What is their game plan? What the hell is going on? I cannot explain it, because sometimes that isn't that even harder to be more locked in when you're on a long road trip and your mind is going in other places. I don't know. I can't explain it. Please, can someone explain this to us? Do you have anything though? Truly.
No. I think Rory in the chest is the Kings know they can just outscore their opponent at home, right? The crowd gets into it. You hit a couple of threes in a row, standing ovation, timeout. They just feel more comfortable with that. Obviously, you want a little more balance. I do think the Kings defense, it's 21st on the season overall. Mm-hmm. Not great, not bad. But I think I'm seeing last game gave me a lot of confidence in what they can be. You know, because everyone looks at Sabonis and goes, oh, he's a negative defensive player. And I always push back on that. He's not perfect. But, man, watching him, the way he moved last night in pick and rolls, help, recover, communicating, defending at the rim. I know you mentioned the play with Anthony Edwards, but Austin Rivers had a drive on him too. Stayed vertical.
Yep.
He had some big stops. He also had 2 blocks last night.
Yeah.
So he was super active. And it's just, can you get a level of consistency? It wasn't perfect last night. It's not always going to be perfect, especially against super talented players in the league. But when I look at the end of the game and see that D'Angelo Russell, who cooked you last game, was 4 of 16, that's huge. Anthony Edwards put up points for sure. 13 of 27 shooting. He has some amazing shots. That guy is a killer. He also had 6 turnovers.
Yeah. I mean, were those turnovers forced turnovers, right? Were they coming from disruptive defense? I think the Kings, what we saw last night in being locked in and super engaged, is something like you're saying. We can see that team going forward on the defensive end. Mike Brown talks about it all the time. It just takes a different level of effort. And when I say effort, I'm not talking about a physical effort. I'm talking about a mental effort. What you have to do to lock in, to not only understand your personnel and understand, oh God, he's a 40% 3-point shooter. When I close out on him, I'm closing out hard. Oh God, no, he's not going to shoot. He's going to pump fake and try and go. I'm going to chop my feet right and make sure to give him a little bit of room so I at least have that perimeter pressure on him. All those little things are very difficult to remember when you're in game, but at this level, like, it's supposed to just be in your muscle memory. It's supposed to just be in your brain, and you're supposed to just go and do it.
Do you think the Kings maybe on the road are just more locked in because they understand it's more challenging to win on the road, and maybe they're taking their home court advantage, so to speak, for granted? Because I think some people would make the case they've been disappointing at home. They've had some disappointing losses on the home floor, and they've been one of the better teams on the road. I think they might have, after last night, the best road record in the Western Conference.
Wow.
We should also congratulate the Warriors.
On what?
They won back-to-back road games for the first time this season. Oh, that's so cute. That's very cute. Everybody.
That is so
give it up.
cute.
You guys did it.
Yeah, we're trolling for the first time because we can this season, okay?
It's also, we don't really mean it.
And we don't, because we understand that Warriors fans can come up to us and go, we got the rings. We know all that. Let us have fun.
Yeah.
Let us just enjoy these moments.
Kings are 2 wins away from matching their win total from last year.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Wow, what a depressing year.
You can always hit us up, 1-800-921-1140. We love reading the chat on the YouTube feed, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140, which is great. You guys can have fun with the poll question, chat away, ask us questions, but we also like hearing your voice. So hit us up like Casey. What's up, Casey?
Hi, Deuce and Mo.
Oh, Casey.
What's up,
His
Casey?
daily call to Deuce and Mo. What is up, man? What do you think of last night's game?
I was like, I saw most of this game, and I'm like, when Anthony Edwards hit that falling away fade, I was thinking 2 things. Number 1, is that Kobe Bryant out there? And number 2, this game's probably over. But The way Trey Lyles stepped up when Sabonis fouled out, he was my MVP last night for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. We got a poll question today. Who was the MVP of the game? The options: Trey Lyles, Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox, or Harrison Barnes, who won Defensive Player of the Game. That chain from the coaching staff. 47% of people watching or voting right now say De'Aaron Fox was the MVP last night, while 41% say your pick, Trey Lyles. And I agree with you. I thought you needed, especially with Sabonis out, that was going to be a huge decision who was going to step in and actually play a big role.
Yeah.
And I thought Lyles was massive. 8 points in overtime, playing with physicality, attacking the rim, hitting shots, and then that defensive breakdown late in the game when it didn't look like the Kings had much of anything at all offensively going. And they're going, what? Why are we just standing around? You're up 3. You got to score a bucket here. Defensive breakdown. D'Angelo Russell gets mixed up, doesn't communicate. Lyles is wide open, and Fox fires a laser.
Mwah. Perfect pass.
Perfect pass. Lyles dunks it home, and that pretty much sealed the win.
Absolutely. But I would also like to say that I watched a lot of this game on the Wolves broadcast because I had stupid dish and have to use streaming.
Okay.
And they were saying that the foul that Sabonis committed with the illegal screen wasn't even Sabonis' fault, and that was the play directly resulting in that technical foul that he thought he was ejected on.
You know, we haven't even talked about.
Dude, we have so many things to talk about.
The officiating.
Mm-hmm.
The officiating. Oh, all right, Casey. Thanks for checking in, man.
I would also like to say congratulations, Keegan Murray, for making the Rising Stars game.
Yes.
Ooh, I love Casey. I love his energy.
Great energy.
Perfect
Great energy.
Oh, we got a break, but obviously when we come back, I want to talk about the officiating. I want to talk about Malik Monk. I want to talk about Harrison. There's just so many little things to still talk about.
Yes, and also we got Truth or Trash coming up next hour.
Ooh.
We're going to have some fun. It's Deuce and Mo. We're just getting started on Sactown Sports. All right, we stay live during breaks on the YouTube feed. The only thing is, I need the tinkle. But also, I see a ton of people here. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you share with your friends. Hey, this new show's on 11 to 2. Let's keep the momentum rolling.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you guys can or want, please make sure to put something out on social so I can retweet it. It helps us grow. But I'm always just like, it's easier for me too. So then I can post out the link. You guys can post out the link. We can all just work together. Collaboration.
What voice is that?
This is just my collaboration voice. Like my Andrew Luck voice.
I do like the collaboration voice.
What other voice would you like to hear?
I don't know.
Don't make me sing. I don't know. Yes, everybody, it's Tinkle time. Hey, we're gonna need a drop for Tinkle time. Let's not even tell him yet. Let's just surprise him the next time he does Tinkle time.
Yeah, we have to think of something.
Okay, I'm throwing a lot at you, but yeah, I think it should be an aggressive it's Tinkle time. It's Tinkle time. Yeah. Oh, you're just gonna? Yep, you're clipping that. Is that what's happening?
I can't record on there, but
no, that's okay.
What would it sound like?
It's Tinkle time. What is that? We were just doing a song really quick. Okay, let's see. When teammates cut. Okay. Adrian wants to know, do you guys ever hear Domas say, what are you doing? When teammates cut when he's trying to work in the post, what are his teammates supposed to do? Because obviously they can't just stand around. No, I don't hear him say that. I've seen him communicate with people though. It's more of an understanding of when someone wants to cook or when you got to move. And when you see a guy and feel out when he's done trying to cook because he can't get anything, I'm talking about Domas, let's say, when he's trying to back a guy up and he ain't got nothing, that's when you go. You don't go when he's trying to cook. And that's just comes with chemistry, understanding one another, blah, blah.
Yeah, you don't want to make Sabonis mad.
No. Ooh, last night.
Dude,
yeah,
he was hot last night.
We didn't talk about that yet.
I have some crazy officiating stuff we got to get to.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I thought the calls on Sabonis were so ticky-tack last night. And the way he picked up his 4th and 5th, he fouled out legit. He pushed Gobert in the back. Sabonis was pissed last night. That was weird, too. He was ejected, but then he wasn't. No one knew what the hell was going on.
That
was strange.
That was really strange. And I want to talk about that when we're back, but truly, there are people talking about that on a national podcast today. And it was like, yeah, he was ejected, but he wasn't. And then you heard De'Aaron talk about it. And it's like, no, we all knew he wasn't ejected. And then you hear Keegan talk about it. And he's like, yeah, I think I thought he was ejected. And
I just thought yeah.
I'm not good at it.
No, you're not.
Quote tweet link. Join us.
Roman says, you guys ever have a mismatch in pickup and then a teammate comes over to screen for you and gives you their defender instead? That's the worst.
That's funny.
Great point in the chat. Refs were tired last night from missing sleep over LeBron's non-call in that Lakers. We didn't think about that. No, that's a great. We should
Best comment ever.
Yeah, comment of the day nominee. Comment of the day nominee.
Yep, it's a breakdown.
The officials. Did you lose sleep last night? Yeah, Reddit. If you guys are on NBA Reddit, there's some. It's not all great all the time, but there's some good stuff, and we got some last 2 minute stuff. All right, stand by, guys. We got an update, and then us.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
This is Chris Verlot with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Sacramento Kings rebounded from Saturday's game to win 118-111 in overtime last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. De'Aaron Fox scored a team-high 32 points. Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray both finished with a double-double, and Trey Lyles led the Kings in scoring in overtime, with 8 of his 11 points coming in the extra frame. Kings are off tonight. They'll be back in action tomorrow when they take on the San Antonio Spurs. You can listen to the game right here on Sactown Sports. Bad news for the 49ers and Brock Purdy. It was announced that he suffered a complete UCL tear. He will be out for the next 6 months. According to Adam Schefter, Purdy is looking for a second opinion to avoid surgery, but the team is recommending that he has it. It is 11:59, and that means it's more of the Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Oh, you start your lunch hour with Deuce Mason and Morgan Reagan. And shout out to people who listen to us later on the podcast. We are live. It's fun. We're on Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time, reflecting on what went down last night with the Sacramento Kings. There's a weird night in the NBA, a wild night, another 50-point game in the league. We had 19 50-point games this season, matching the total for all of last year.
Wow.
And then we're still talking about the officials because last night's game, although the Kings got the win in overtime, it was a big-time win. Sabonis fouled out. Sabonis was hot last night. It's not often you see Sabonis that hot. He was beyond frustrated with what went down last night in that game. His fourth and fifth fouls in that game, kind of questionable illegal screens. That final foul he got fouled out on, he pushed Gobert in the back. That was legit, but he lost his mind after one of those calls. He's really frustrated about that. The next play down, he gets knocked down. No call. He was furious with the officials, and it looked like he got ejected, but then he didn't get ejected.
Didn't understand that because even it looked like at some point that there was at least a technical, right? And then when he kept charging really angrily at the official, it looked like, oh my God, there's an ejection, but there wasn't. He even went into the tunnel. He was escorted with the team security into the tunnel. He was not ejected. He came back out on the floor, but we had no idea because we obviously didn't have the broadcast team there telling us what was going on. And, and that's why there's a lot of value, people being there to tell us, hey, we got this happening and this guy gets a technical. And it's interesting to see when things like that happen in those situations. But yeah, we still don't have full clarity on what happened.
Either way, he fouls out of this game with 53 seconds to go. The Kings had a 4-point lead. That disappeared after a terrible missed call. It's 103-100. McDaniels gets the ball, and as someone mentioned to us last night, I think he did the river dance, right?
Yes.
Like it was intense. I'm like, oh, cool, he's putting on a performance. Oh, they're going to call a travel, though. No travel call. He launches a 3, surprises everybody in the building, knocks down the 3. We got a tie game, and then we end up going to overtime. But the Kings played big in overtime. Someone in the chat brought up a great point, Morgan.
Yeah.
The officials missed that call for good reason.
Oh, why did they? For what reason?
Saturday night it was a really tough night for the officiating community as they missed that call on LeBron. LeBron was upset, Patrick Beverly. And as the Referees Association tweeted out, they lost sleep that night. So it makes sense that maybe the officials were a little exhausted, fatigued, mentally worn down over the last couple of days that they missed a key call in that game.
Because they weren't sleeping, right?
Right.
Sleepless nights was quoted in that tweet. This all makes complete sense. How about you sleep so you can make that call, especially the official that was right there pointing at the feet. Mike Brown and the entire bench and T-Wolves fans were even like, yo.
There was one fan that literally did a travel motion.
I reached out. Sources say she was a Kings fan.
Ooh.
Did you really reach out?
Yeah, I did.
I couldn't tell if this was a real bit or not. Wow. Okay, fine. Fine, Chris. She was a Kings fan and she was trying to call it travel too, but it's like you saw everyone on that sideline calling travel. You saw the official pointing down at the feet. He's pointing down at the feet to make sure it was beyond the arc to be like, 3-pointer.
Well, everyone's favorite last 2-minute report will be coming out at some point today, and it'll show that shouldn't have been a 3, should have been a travel. That would have led to an end of the game. The Kings wouldn't even had to go to overtime. Nonetheless, the Kings do get the win. People don't like the last 2-minute report for a good reason. Why? Nothing changes. You see the missed calls and you go, okay, what's that mean? For me as a fan, it doesn't change the outcome of a game. Do the officials get held accountable? Like, what actually happens? Well, someone on Reddit reviewed the Lakers' last 2-minute reports this year because everyone's freaking out. The Lakers we've gone job so many times this year. It's been so tragic. Of course, the last 2-minute report, if it's at any point in the final 2 minutes, it's a one-possession game. That qualifies. So there have been 34 incorrect calls or non-calls in the final 2 minutes of the Lakers' 19 close games. 21 of the 34 favored the Lakers.
Shocker.
Now, this person is a gem. Talking about doing homework. Gotta love NBA Reddit. The Kings have played 22 close games. A lot of close games.
Yeah.
They have 36 incorrect calls / non-calls. 13 of them in favor of the Kings. Overwhelmingly against the Kings late in the game. Yet the NBA world was turned upside down. SportsCenter wall-to-wall coverage. Beverly's got a camera. LeBron is throwing a temper tantrum on the court during the game. After the game, Dennis Schroeder is sharing IG stories. This is unacceptable, blah, blah, blah. I'm going, where's
politicians were like starting new bills?
Yes. And the Kings have gone jobbed. Yeah, I mean, the Warriors, by the way, have played 18 close games, 28 incorrect calls in those games, 17 in their favor. 17 of the
Ironically, one of those was the Kings.
Yes, correct. Klay Thompson, no foul.
Celtics, talk about even split, 33 incorrect non-calls, 17 against them, 16 in favor. The Jazz, 21 incorrect, 8 in favor, so they've gone jobbed a lot. The Kings are overwhelmingly the one team in the NBA who's gotten screwed when you look at the last 2-minute report.
Does this surprise anyone?
No.
And I hate being that person in Sacramento that's like, does this even surprise anyone? Of course this is happening. I don't care. I don't. Deuce, I said this to you yesterday. I don't care who it is. Make sure it's fair. That is all I ask. I just need this game to be called fairly. I understand there's going to be the mistakes, but it's so disgusting to see LeBron James throw a tantrum and then there's apologies galore from the officiating crews. It's just ridiculous that it had to get to that point when it's like, no, how about for all the other teams that you just don't respect?
Well, the good news for the Sacramento Kings, they got the win. And I think it was one of their better wins of the year because they played some defense on the road. They win a close game. It's an overtime game. Sabonis not in the game in overtime. We've talked about Trey Lyles and De'Aaron Fox. I thought Malik Monk had a major impact on this game. What impressed you with Malik Monk coming off the bench for Sacramento last night?
Well, you got that chaotic energy, right? And I'm not saying that impressed me the most. I would say really his ability to get to the rim is what impressed me the most. The way that he changed his speed when he saw Rudy Gobert kind of give him a little like, I'm going to come after you. No, I'm not. I'm going to commit. No, I'm not. As soon as he would recognize that Rudy Gobert wasn't committing to him, he's like, I'm going at you. He would go straight into his chest, straight at the rim. However he would finish, he utilized his body in so many different smart athletic ways to just finish on top of everybody. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he had that steal and that finish on go. It looked like he wanted to dunk it, but somehow didn't dunk it. He kind of like threw it in there. I don't know how he did it. It worked.
Yeah.
And with Malik, I think that's why Brown has stayed with him, because of what else he does on the floor. I've seen the YouTube comments before. He's like Buddy Hield. And I'm like, he's not like Buddy Hield.
No.
Because you know what? If Malik Monk is not knocking down a shot, and to be fair, he has not shot the ball well from three this year. He's at like 30-something%. Super low for him, especially after last year when he was near 40, really good catch and shoot guy. He has found other ways to impact the game. He definitely has moments where you're like, what? That's a bad pass there. But then he's setting guys up. He dropped 3 critical dimes in that overtime session. He's getting the paint touches.
Yes.
He's getting some pick and roll coverage. It's a little frantic at times. It's hectic. He does make mistakes. But when you look at the end of the night, he ends up playing 31 minutes. He has 19 points. He has 5 assists. He did have 5 turnovers. He had 3 steals. He was a plus for the Kings last night, and especially on a night where Kevin Huerter could not get it going, and he only played 21 minutes.
And for some of the mistakes that he would make, he always would make it better. I know you don't want the mistakes to cancel out with the good stuff, but at the same time, the good stuff outweighed the bad stuff in so many ways because of his presence, the energy that he does bring on both ends of the floor. There was a play in the fourth quarter. You talk about some of the bad passes. He was just trying to bounce it into Sabonis, who was posting up. It wasn't a strong enough
You
pass.
mean when he was being fronted? Sabonis was being fronted, and Malik
Yeah.
no, what are you doing, Malik?
Sabonis was like, that is not what we do. And then you saw times on the other end of the floor that he's grabbing, a ball that Minnesota was trying to pass up court and grabs it, goes the other way, gets that steal. Like there's some big moments that he would have, some big finishes that he did have. I loved what we saw from him last night. Sure, you wanted a little more under control, but this is also what you're going to get from Malik Monk, and I'm cool with that.
Appreciate everyone watching us live on YouTube. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. If you're in the YouTube chat, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. We're approaching 300 thumbs up. That would be huge for us to get there because all it does is help the channel grow. So more eyeballs on YouTube see what's happening at Sactown Sports, where you're getting local coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night, Monday through Friday. We keep it rolling. We're on 11 to 2 p.m. right here on Sactown Sports. You can also hit us up 1-800-920-1140 if you want to make your actual voice literally heard.
Literally.
Yeah, Malik was fantastic last night. And I think that's the one thing. It's such a difference when the bench can give you something. I think that the bench has been up and down this year. And it's trying to find, all right, can you get Malik to be positive on more nights than he is negative? And he's been a little up and down.
Such an underrated playmaker, though. I think you look at that overtime and the way that he would drive to the basket. Oh, who does he find in the corner the first time? Trey Lyles for 3. Okay, drives to the basket again, creates for Keegan Murray in the corner for 3. He is going at such a fast pace, but only he sometimes has control of it. Other times there's players and teams that are capable of stopping it. But man, when he makes the right play, you see how well he can dominate out there.
The trade deadline's coming up, Mo.
Oh, it is.
February 9th.
Oof.
We're going to have a big trade deadline special. We live for these moments. The trade deadline's fun, but we haven't heard a lot of Kings-related rumors.
A little bit.
Until last night.
Hey-o!
Mark Stein bringing up some news about the Kings and possible interest in someone on the 76ers, a name that I feel like we've been talking about forever in Sacramento, Matisse Thybulle. We got to talk about what he could bring. What would the Kings have to give up to get him? And is it a big upgrade for the Kings?
There's a lot of questions to unpack there. But you do love seeing that the Kings' name is within conversations?
No, you do. It's one of those weird things. I can't figure out if I want rumors Or is it better when it's kind of quiet? Like your team's you're not hearing a lot. I think we all just crave rumors. At this time of the year and during free agency, I'm just like, come on, Mark Stein, give it to me.
Yeah.
I got an email from Substack. Let's inject me with the trade rumors, please.
And I'm cool hearing about who the Kings would want and not who they're trying to get rid of, because then it doesn't allow one individual on this Kings roster to be like, oh God, is it me? You don't know. Like, let's not have names just like all floating out there. Let's have names that the Kings want to go after out there.
Well, maybe we should go around the NBA a little bit next.
Yes.
Do a little DMZ, Deuce and Mo. It's like TMZ, but DMZ, do you get it?
See what
DMZ.
Yes, I like
we
that.
talk trade rumors, including one involving the Kings. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. Okay. YouTube chat, what is up? Ian, do you guys think it's weird that Monk and Fox have zero on-court chemistry? I disagree with that. What do you mean by that? How do they not have on-court chemistry?
Yeah, that's interesting. Definitely don't agree.
Someone saying, I sure hope Herter and Monk going through a minor shooting slump. We need their buckets. Yeah, Herter a little bit, but his percentage is still at a good rate. I think Monk's is the one where I'm like, man, can he get it going from three?
Consistently.
As a catch and shoot guy.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
I think that's been one of my bigger surprises.
There's still like other things that Herter is doing well out there at times. Like obviously last night wasn't his game, where you see why he is still playing, even if he's not knocking down all those sexy threes. Where sometimes Malik Monk, you see that chaotic energy come out and it's like, whoa, we got to reel that back in, make sure that we're taking care of Z basketball.
Dude, an awesome stat from Will Z.
Yeah.
So he just sent this to us. The Kings, we talked about the 15 steals the Kings had last night, which is a season high. They also, NBA just updated their stats, 18 deflections and 7 loose balls recovered.
No.
It's great activity.
Way.
And for reference, the Raptors lead the league with 18.3 deflections, and the Pacers lead the league with 5.6 loose balls recovered.
Dude.
So that's just a great number. That's a fantastic number.
And not only are the Raptors locked in as a team and have a good foundation there with Nick Nurse, even though they've had their troubles.
Yeah. I mean, they have the potential.
But
They
I was
have
going
it.
to.
It's Deuce and Mo on your local sports leader.
Sactown Sports.
Oh, yes, it is. Deuce Mason, Morgan, Reagan. Coming up at 1 p.m., we dive deeper into the Sacramento Kings, talk some NBA trade deadline, and we'll sprinkle in some NFC Championship. With Sean Cunningham. He was at the game on the sidelines in Philadelphia watching the Niners lose. And we got some tough news on Brock Purdy we'll talk about in Truth or Trash. That's coming up in a few minutes as well. But Morgan, this is the time of year we start getting rumors.
I'm sick of rumors starting. I'm tired of thinking. Dun, dun. Do you know that song?
What is it?
Lindsay Lohan's. Like, do nobody remember that song from like the early 2000s?
I don't think I've ever heard a Lindsay Lohan song.
Yeah,
Lindsay
really?
Lohan doesn't have a song.
Yeah, dude, find it. I'm sick of rumors started. I'm sick of being followed. I'm so out of butter. And it's like, it's such an awfully amazing music video.
All the songs you could do about rumors.
Yeah.
You do this
What
one.
other song do you have?
Lizzo's got one with Cardi B, Rumors.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's I mean, fresh.
I don't
new.
think there is one person listening to us right now who knows what you just referenced.
I bet you my girl Brooke, if she was out there, she'd be
Zero
like,
chance.
I know what's up.
Appreciate you guys in the
Brooke
YouTube
sounds like
chat.
somebody that listens to Lindsay Lohan.
Well, she's a Swiftie.
She's definitely a Swiftie.
She's younger, but I think she would know it.
Yeah, what about Rumor Has It too?
Rumor has it. Ooh, that one.
Yeah, Adele.
yeah.
You know she's pretty big.
Yeah, she's Lindsay Lohan though. She's iconic.
Chris, do you actually have that? There's no way it's a song.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad we have this.
I'm looking for it, but like music isn't coming.
No, it's
Well,
it's not.
this
It's not
should-
even a thing.
Can we do this on trade deadline? That like leading up to trade deadline. Anytime there's a rumor, we go to Lindsay Lohan's song.
Yeah, we'll be the one place
you.
that does it because you know
Well.
the song. Sean and the Jess says, I love that song. It's a classic.
Yes.
So you know what? I was wrong. One person. Oh,
Thank you,
Leandro
Sean.
two people.
Let's go.
All right, Morgan. Let's stop wasting time.
Yes, sir.
We got trade rumors to get to.
Yeah.
You've heard of TMZ, but have you heard of DMZ? Oh, yes. It's time for rumors. They are everywhere as we are approaching the NBA's trade deadline. Morgan, Reagan, this one from Mark Stein talking about the Sacramento Kings expressing interest in Matisse Thybulle. Here's what he wrote. I encourage you guys to check out his Substack too. I subscribe. That's how I learned this. Sacramento is said to be monitoring the availability of Philadelphia's Matisse Thybulle as the Kings unexpectedly holding the West number 3 seed after a league record 16 consecutive seasons out of the playoffs ponder the pursuit of a more defensive-minded option on the perimeter. One source with knowledge of the Kings' thinking, meanwhile, insists that the rival teams hoping for Rashawn Holmes to become a buyout candidate if Sacramento can't trade him, as mentioned by Mark Stein last week, are poised to be disappointed. A buyout would be complicated for both sides with 2 years and nearly $25 million left on Holmes' contract after the season. Let's take that aside. We knew that. We said that last week right here on this show. But the one thing we did not know is Matisse Thybulle. It's a name that I feel like Kings fans have mentioned a lot over the last couple of years because it's a guy that's a 2-time member of the all-defensive second team. He gets after it, but his minutes have gone down big time in Philly this year. Last year, playing 25 minutes a night. This year, it's down to 12.
Yep.
Your reaction when you hear Matisse Thybulle and the Kings possibly being interested in him, if you separate, what do the Kings give up? What do you just think about the name Matisse Thybulle and how he would fit with Sacramento?
Love it. Love it. I know.
Love it.
I know a lot of people. You're going to his basketball reference right now. You're like, why does she love? What? Why would she love this? Obviously, he's not a big scorer. He's not known for his offensive game. You saw last year, I think he was averaging a little under 6 points, just trying to build a little bit more within his 25 minutes. His shooting percentage has gone down big time, but so has his time on the floor for many reasons, though. Look at their team. Look at their squad. Look who is ball dominant with that squad. And I don't even think Doc Rivers has really done a good job of utilizing him within their rotation, especially when they need a big time defender out there. But I think with the Sacramento Kings, you look at Mike Brown and how he keeps trying to go for KZ Okpala. He keeps trying to go to, okay, we need TD for energy or whoever it is. And I love Terrence Davis. I also love what he provided last night. Another guy that we didn't even really
talk. Why did we not mention Terrence Davis last night?
Because we will. There's still so many little things, little nuggets I want to get to with that game. But I think when you look at Matisse Thybulle and what he could add, not only defensively with his long arms, his high basketball IQ, I think you wouldn't need him to score on the offensive end, just like the Sixers don't really, but you can also utilize him with Sabonis in the way, hey, can you cut to the basket, move without the basketball, and score an easy 2?
He's not a shooting threat whatsoever, which can mess with your spacing a little bit. And I think that has to be acknowledged. But if you put him in the right lineup, can you get away with it? And as you mentioned, he's a good cutter. Can he get to the basket? Can Sabonis find him? I think defensively, too, I think he's better than KZ. Just look at the resume.
Yeah.
And that's not me taking a shot at KZ Okpala. KZ Okpala has been a fringe NBA player. He's still young. People forget KZ's only 23 years old. Matisse Thybulle has played in playoff games. He has defended some of the premier players in the game. Good off the ball, too. Steals guy, block guy. I think it would be a decent pickup. I don't know if all of a sudden you're looking at a guy that's going to play 30 minutes a night because everything we talk about, like Davion Mitchell's been outstanding defensively.
Outstanding.
The guy plays 20 minutes a night, maybe. I don't even know but last night he plays 12 minutes.
Right.
So, I don't know. Does he come to Sacramento and we're seeing where, Matisse Thybulle played 12 minutes and then he doesn't play and then he played 20? I don't know. I do think he could help this team. I just don't think it's the most impactful thing in NBA history.
Agreed. And that's why when I say I love it, I think you try and find these moves that upgrade your roster without giving away too much. And that's where we get to this. What would you have to give up to get him? There's so many people who have been messaging me being like, don't break up this team at all. There's nothing you can do. Don't do it. And I totally understand that. But I also think at the same time, you're looking at Monty McNair, Wes Wilcox in this front office. They're an aggressive front office. They're willing to make roster changes to improve, to be sustainable for the following year, to grow on top of. Does that move the needle and be like, wow, this team's for sure a playoff team? No, but it's about building piece by piece, roster piece by roster piece, and trying to get there.
I also think that the point you brought up about Doc Rivers' use of Thybulle.
Yeah.
He hasn't used him great all the time,
No.
you know, and I know he's flawed. I do think that the Kings could get the most out of someone like that. And he's a clear upgrade. Like, you need perimeter defense. Whether you like him or not, I've seen people go, he sucks offensively. You can't play him. The Sixers don't play him. I'm not ignoring that stuff, but he was good enough to be on the all-defensive team last year and the year before.
Correct.
So I can't ignore that. And you're not asking the guy to give you much offensively. You're asking, hey, can you every once in a while hit an open shot? And can you move without the ball, and maybe Sabonis could find you? Those are the things you want.
One other thing before we take a short break, I just want to say too, I think I say this for so many players, it's situational, right? And you look at different situations and how guys elevate their game to another level depending on what type of roster they're on. We've talked about this and we're going to talk about it more coming up, but even with Davion Mitchell, you look at him around the NBA, he could be a starting point guard on so many other teams in the NBA. So
I want to say
sorry, not so many. He could be an NBA starter on another team in the NBA and do a solid job for them, but it's never going to happen here in Sacramento. You got De'Aaron Fox here, so that's not the direction they're going to go.
All right, we got a lot more to get to coming up. We still have truth or trash we have to get to, maybe some more DMZ rumors throughout the day.
Please.
We're talking about a Kings win as well. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. Okay, just so you guys know, just a couple of things about this place. This building, 1 second, it'll be 32 degrees in here.
Yes.
Right now, I have sweat building up. It is hot in here.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Like,
I'm feeling nauseous.
Yeah. Why?
What's bad is it flips and flops. So like it was hot as heck here earlier, and now it's freezing in here, and now it's hot in there for you guys.
I'm going to have to do the show from home.
I just don't get it. And they
no.
why can't you say that on air? You don't.
Deuce loves doing
I
that.
love that. Don't be a coward. Chris is saying that AEW is coming to town. All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
Could potentially have some guests. I was telling Morgan if like AEW did bring in a guest, and I know this wouldn't happen.
Oh yeah.
But if MJF was in here, how awkward do you think it would get?
I don't think it'd be awkward.
Are you kidding me?
He'd be in character the whole time. He'd be making fun of Morgan.
He would trash me. He would trash me. And I don't think I could take it. In like a building full of men, like I just don't need that energy. I just couldn't
You've
do
seen
it.
his interviews though, right?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he would like.
Hey, real fast though, we are 8 thumbs up away from 300. We have not, Chris has a new 300 like celebration sounder.
Yeah.
We have not heard it yet.
No.
I would love to hear it today. So make sure if you're in the YouTube chat, appreciate you guys being here. Hit the thumbs up button so we get over 300. It helps the channel grow.
I'm sick of my stomach.
It's a good angle, Brett. It's not those lights though. The lights have been on. It's literally this room, and this is not. Chris knows it too. It's starting to cool down again now, which is
just
weird.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. I was truly going to throw up everywhere from just being nauseous. But
Corey says, "Who would be your top 3 from AEW you'd like on the show?"
Ooh, I would love Jade. Love Jade.
I would love Jade.
Hello, Kenny Omega. Duh.
Yeah, he'd be.
That's fine. He's my guy.
I like all these guys. I feel like I'm starting.
I know. We interviewed the Young Bucks, but that was like a tour,
and we never released it because it wasn't good.
It wasn't good enough.
I would love to meet the best friends.
Brian Danielson.
Best friends.
Yeah.
She's a cash.
Yeah. Who's the best friends?
Oh my.
Chuck and Trent.
I asked for 300. We were at 292. We're over 322 now. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You guys are animals. You guys, all those people who did that today, you are officially Deuce bags and morons. Welcome to the club.
Does this mean that I need to get a 400 likes ready?
You know what? Can I be honest? Don't think they're capable. I don't.
I don't doubt you.
No.
I don't doubt you.
400 likes on night chat, guaranteed.
Oh,
this
100%.
I don't know.
This is building.
I would love Brian Danielson.
Okay.
Because he would be just nice and fun and
yeah, he'd be fun to be talking about like the history of wrestling, blah blah blah.
You know who I really like? He's not in the air. I think I shared a couple of interviews. RJ City.
Oh.
Might be one of the best interviewers in the world.
I've not watched any of his stuff because I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. I just don't connect.
Oh, what?
Oh. Stand by, guys. We have an update.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
This is Christopher Ladd with your Sactown Sports headlines. Sacramento Kings rebounded from Saturday's game to win 118-111 in overtime against the Minnesota Timberwolves. De'Aaron Fox scored a team-high 32 points. Domantas Sabonis and Keegan Murray both finished with a double-double. And Trey Lyles led the King in scoring in overtime with 8 of his 11 coming in the extra frame. Kings are off tonight. They'll be back in action tomorrow when they take on the Spurs. You can listen to the game right here on Sactown Sports. Bad news for the 49ers came out yesterday. It was announced that quarterback Brock Purdy suffered a complete UCL tear, and he'll be out for the next 6 months. According to Adam Schefter, Purdy is looking for a second opinion to avoid surgery, but the team is recommending that he has it. It is 11:28. This time check is brought to you by West Coast Men's Health Acoustic Wave Therapy. And now more of Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
It's when you know you're a big wrestling fan, because in the back of your head, I'm just picturing
Same.
everyone going, Deuce, Deuce. No?
No.
You know what? Is that Hook?
That's Hook, dude.
I know.
Why were you thinking Samoa Joe?
No, I'm thinking of myself.
Oh.
No, they chant Hook's name, Morgan.
Yeah, he's saying Deuce, Deuce.
Oh.
Casual
I was
here.
just doing my Hook hair like swipe.
Hook is so overrated. I can't.
I
Rookie
love
of the year is overrated.
Yeah.
and I love that song. Love.
It's great.
It's so cool.
Deuce and Mo, we are live on Sactown Sports. Of course, we are live on your radio. That's great. 11:40 a.m. 96.1-2. If you're driving some EV, some fancy car, you don't have AM. No excuse. You got the app. You can Bluetooth that bad boy. Download the free Sactown Sports app. You can get our show podcast version, Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
Spotify. But how about the people live on YouTube today that are rolling deep because they know the beam is lit and they are feeling good? We asked for 200 thumbs up. They gave it to us. I was like, I don't know if they can get to 300.
You didn't know.
But at this hour, the YouTube chat came alive and gave us 300 thumbs up. You know, it's funny because I kind of feel like when you're playing this, Chris, I'll be honest. Not what I was expecting.
Not at all.
You know what I kind of felt like in this?
What?
Like I was Ellen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, all right, hey, check under your seat. We got a gift for everyone. Oh, 12 days of Christmas.
And she does her nerdy dancing.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm not gonna lie.
It was a little disappointing in a way. I mean, I like the song, but like,
no,
for 300.
No. Chris has like he's done such a great with all of his music, every single thing, and then you pick "Cake by the Ocean" for 300.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Tell me you don't like it.
I mean, I Ellened everybody.
I wanted some explosions of 300. You know
See, here's the thing: is like I did that way long ago.
Yeah.
True.
When we had no expectations.
Okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
So now I need to make this 400 one really pop.
Yeah. We're not getting we're not getting the 400. It's fine. No, it's fine.
Reverse psychology.
Charlie in the chat, and I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to pretend like it is.
Okay.
He said, so this might need to be fact checked.
Okay.
But I believe the Sixers are 20-1 when Thybulle plays 20 plus minutes this year.
No.
We need to fact check that now. If that is true,
trade everyone.
That is insane. Like that can't be right.
No.
I'm going to game log this right now.
Yeah, game log that. We'll fact check that because if that is true, again, it's just it's just like one of those stats where you're seeing still small minutes from this guy, but it's the same thing that we were talking about with Terrence Davis the other day. And actually, while you fact check that, just talking about Terrence Davis and what he's able to provide in his efficiency in his little amount of time. Yes,
I just fact checked it. He is absolutely wrong.
Oh.
I don't think he's had more than 20 minutes.
So he has 10 games where he's played 20 or more minutes this season.
Uh-huh.
Sixers are 10-0.
Okay.
So
there you go. Wow, you checked that really fast.
So yeah, he made that stat up. I think maybe he's doing a truth or trash thing. He wanted me to say trash on that.
Oh, got it. Well, either way, made us look.
You did.
I made you look. I made you look.
See, Adrian says it's true. He ripped it from a Sixers pod. I mean, I'm looking at the game log this year.
Huh.
His regular season games. He has only played 10 games with 20 or more minutes, but the Sixers have not lost in those games. So the Sixers you podcast, you listen to 100% wrong.
Ooh, they're just trying to. They're probably getting paid to like sell their guy, showcase Thybulle for the team. You know,
interesting. I didn't know it was a Sixers affiliated podcast, but maybe you're right.
Yeah,
maybe you're right. Can we get to some truth or trash topics? I know we have imaging for it. We can't get to the imaging. Do we need it? Fine. It's truth or trash.
We tell you what's real and what's downright garbage. It's truth or trash.
Truth or trash.
It's pretty simple.
Deuce and Mo.
It's pretty simple. We give you a statement. You can play along in the live chat on YouTube. You can hit us up at 1-800-920-1140. We give you a statement. Tell us if it's truth or trash. Here's the first one.
Yeah.
All-Star reserves will be announced on Thursday.
Okay.
Sabonis and Fox will be announced on the team.
I'm going to go with trash.
Ooh.
It's not what I want. It's not what I want to say, but it's what I believe. And I think our friend, Kevin O'Connor,
KOC
tweeted out, I believe yesterday, saying De'Aaron Fox is an all-star. I think it was last night after the game. De'Aaron Fox is an all-star. Now, you look at the Western Conference, you look at what other guards are in this Western Conference, and it's just hard for me to believe that he will be chosen and he will be voted in. Sabonis, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we saw how even ridiculous it is that he wasn't an all-star starter. Sure, whatever. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox deserves to be a starter, but I don't think he will be.
I'm going to say truth.
In all-star.
I'm going to say truth. I think they both get in. They both get announced. Yeah, because the coaches vote for this. And I think any coach who is watching this, I'm also working on the assumption the coaches are literally the ones voting, not their like assistants or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, when you play the Kings, man, they've been really good this year. They're 28-21. You know Sabonis is in. We talk about that. Fox has been great this year. He's been more efficient than he's ever been. The three-point shooting is still not where I'd like it to be overall. I think going into last night, it was like 33-ish%. Not great, but over 50% field goal percentage.
Yeah.
Nearly 80% from the free throw line. His fourth quarter numbers are absurd. He has taken over games, and they're winning. There are some great candidates, and I think some people would make the case, hey, Anthony Edwards over him. I think it's close. And I think there's a chance both guys get in. You never know who's going to miss a game due to injury. But I think both get in. I think people around the league really respect what he's been able to do this season.
Wild. I hope it's true. And I think he deserves that respect. Obviously, his mom called in earlier, Lorraine Fox, and was even talking about how she was glad to see him pull out that type of game last night, all four quarters, and didn't just bring it in those clutch minutes like we've seen from De'Aaron Fox. And I think he's done that more consistently than not this season. And that's another reason why I hope that coaches are seeing that and going, yeah, that guy is an all-star.
Since you guys are talking all-stars, there's something I don't get now.
What?
What's the point of Western and Eastern Conference anymore?
Yeah, it's weird because they name them. They're both from the West and East, but come game time when the two captains are selecting, it doesn't matter. You know, I gotta be honest. I know this is like back in my day thing. There's a couple of things I miss. I want it West versus East.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
1, 2. I feel like all-star jerseys, they need to go one or of two ways. They need to go old school 90s one where it's like, I remember when they had the game in Phoenix. You always think of Mitch Richmond. Those jerseys were awesome. He had a cactus on it. They're pretty funky.
Okay.
It felt like it was tied to that city. You know, it just looked cool. Or go the route of everyone plays in their home jerseys. Like, it was cool watching a game, seeing, all right, you've got Kings in their black against, you know, the Eastern Conference white jersey. So I just thought it looked cool. It's like, oh, whoa, you got a Kings passing to a Lakers player. There's something cool about that.
I agree. No, those times I thought was awesome. And I wouldn't mind if it went back to that. But let's say because they love selling and making money, they want to make new jerseys. Fine. Then make them really geared toward the city that you're in. Because what was it last year? Like red and blue? Red and blue.
You don't the games in Salt Lake City this year, the most boring NBA All-Star jerseys ever.
Hey.
No, I'm serious. I'm gonna show you right now. I know that's not gonna help the YouTube people. I could try to log in next time on StreamYard's show, but I mean, it literally
pretty boring.
It's
pretty
like
boring. Yeah, no.
These two-tone jerseys, like a gradient, right?
Yeah.
And it all says is All-Star with a number. They're boring. Can we get back to the old days where we used to have fun with our jerseys? Look at the most popular jerseys people wear now. It's all the funky ones. It's those old Rockets ones.
The Miami.
Utah Jazz. Like fun. I mean, the Miami City ones are probably the best example of like ones that
new
work.
city, yes.
Yeah, but people love the old school jerseys for
yeah.
good reason. They had something different about them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not only where it brings back like these good memories for so many people and where the NBA was and where it's grown to, but I also believe that all that old retro stuff is so hip and in with people as well. Like, why not go in that direction? Why not just
go super like we used to do back in the day?
What?
Shirts and skins.
No.
All right, take off.
No.
You know, why not?
No. Oh my God, no.
You never played shirts and skins back in the day?
I mean, obviously, women we'd play in sports bras. And
well, thank you. I thought it was
yeah, just like that would be very strange and weird. But even that, I remember being like, no, this is weird. There's a whole bunch of like coaches, and it was just gross and weird. And I was always like, nah, I'm playing with shirts. Thanks. Can't make me. Don't even care.
We got more Truth or Trash coming up. We got to talk some more Kings and Truth or Trash. We got some NBA MVP talk, some 49ers quarterback talk. It's all in Truth or Trash coming up next on Sactown Sports. Oh, the purple and black pill says, listen, I know I'm late to the game. I just want to say that as an elder millennial, I absolutely remember the Lindsay Lohan song. Dude, I have zero recollection of that song. And I think it's hilarious that Morgan's rumor song she went with was that one. Some obscure song that nobody knows. And even, that's the other thing, Chris, you know a lot of obscure things. You didn't even know that one.
Do you know who I guarantee knows about that song?
Who?
Sean Cunningham. Guarantee it. 100%.
He likes a lot of bad music.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Yep. People talking about the Kings at home versus road. Yeah. Charlie says the Kings haven't been great at home. All their most disappointing games have been at home. Brian says, I hate to say it, but the beam inspires other teams to play better. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I also think there is something fun for some of these teams to just play in like a cool environment. Like, it can be intimidating for some, especially late in the game if it's a close game. But, you know, a lot of times on a Tuesday night in the NBA, like these teams are going to like markets that don't draw well. You're looking up and it's like, all right, it's kind of a sleepy winter night. It's cold in the city. This team's losing. The fans aren't into it. Or you come to Sacramento on a Tuesday night and it's like, oh, okay, this feels like a big game. You kind of get juiced for a game like that. It's not only the Kings record, but it's like, oh no, this is a fun environment. And I think it brings the best out of people. I don't know.
What?
I was just talking about how like someone was just saying the beam maybe inspires other teams to play better. I was just making the point that when you're an NBA player and you're on the road sometimes and you go into some of these towns where the attendance isn't great, it's cold, the fans aren't into it, the team's not good, kind of boring or a quiet crowd.
Yeah.
It's not very fun. But when you're on the road and you walk into a place and there's like a legit buzz in the building, there's an energy that you could feel, everything feels bigger. That's going to fire you up. Now, some teams will shrink from that, but I think there are a lot of teams in the NBA, especially with how much parity there is in the league, they dig that.
I'm with you. I think, Deuce, you and I call G League Stockton Kings games, and we get to see the nights when not many people are in the arena compared to the nights that the arena is more filled. And you can tell both teams need that type of energy, right? Obviously, this isn't 17,000 people where it's going to dominate one side or another, but having that presence brings that energy instead of you just having to create it on your own.
That's hilarious. Adrian says, you see that clip floating around how loud Golden was when Golden One center was when Kevin Huerter hit that 3 against the Jazz. Imagine the playoffs. It would be insane. And then Adrian also says, when McDaniels hit that 3 last night, I heard crickets in Minnesota at the Target Center.
Damn.
It was pretty weak.
Mm-hmm.
Really weak. All right. I said I don't think we can get to 400 thumbs up. I still don't, but we're over 350, which is great. And it just shows that people are supporting a big way. So if you do, look, if we get to 370, it'll be cute. And so I don't think we can get to 400. I'd be really surprised if we got there. I just appreciate you guys doing it because it helps the channel grow.
Maybe slow it down a little bit because I'm not prepared for 400.
You don't have anything prepared for 400.
Wow, Chris, no faith in us at all.
Stand by.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
The only show in the world that is playing this song, right? I'm sorry. The only people listening to this song right now in the universe, the three of us and our people listening to the show.
Lies. I'm positive there's someone else in this world right now listening to this song.
So we're talking about NBA rumors, and Morgan started singing this song by Lindsay Lohan I didn't even know existed. Although I got to be honest, when I heard that chorus, I did recognize
Thank
it.
you.
It
was a hot song in the early 2000s.
Was it really hot, though? Or
Yes.
was it like, oh, it's Lindsay Lohan, she's popular?
No, it was a hot song because her, Paris Hilton, and Britney Spears were always together, and all the paparazzis were following them all the time. And so the whole music video is her running away from the flashes and just like
Morgan, she peaked in Parent Trap, and you know it.
That's honestly,
it's a great movie.
Do not talk about her like that. That's wrong. She is engaged. She is happy. She is sober in her life now.
I'm not saying I'm not
No,
happy for
you do
her.
not talk about her like that.
Okay.
Do not. She's having like a revenge tour.
Mike says no, she peaked at Mean
Revenge.
Girls. Mean Girls.
Oh, Mean Girls?
Never seen it.
Top one of the most
It's so-
iconic movies in
It's
the
so
world.
fetch. What does that even mean? I
That's so fetch, dude. That's so fetch.
We do have some more truth or trash topics we got to get to. Coming up at 1, though, we should mention that Sean Cunningham from Fox 40 joins the show. He's been covering the Kings since, 2000.
Seriously?
He's had the same hat on the entire time.
Yes.
He'll be joining us live to talk some Kings and some 49ers. He was at that game on Sunday. It was a really tough loss. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We are live until 2 p.m. Pacific time. Then we hand it off to Cattles and Rami, live and local from 6A to 6P. Morgan Reagan, truth or trash?
Yes.
The Kings have to make a deal at the trade deadline.
Truth or trash?
Ooh, sassy. Trash. I don't think they need to make it at the trade deadline.
They can come back with this same team post trade deadline. You'd be completely satisfied.
Doesn't mean I'd be completely satisfied.
Okay.
It takes two teams to tango.
People say that. What? How do you tango?
Want me to show you?
I would love to know.
Dun, 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 dun. No, okay, Deuce is like flimsy like this, where like tango, you're supposed to be direct, like strong, into it.
We just say things sometimes.
You just did this.
We just say things in a culture that I just don't. I'm like, why do we say that? spill the beans like we talked about last year. It takes two to tango. One person can't tango a little bit by himself?
No, because then that's not a tango. Like
I don't know
a
what that
tango,
means.
it's like, oh, if you break dance, you can be an individual break dancer, but
Yeah.
it takes two to tango. And in this case, it takes two GMs or two teams to tango or make a deal, right? And so that's why when I say trash,
Who wouldn't want to tango with Monty McNair? He's not good at the tango?
if he dances like you, then no, he's not good at the tango. But truly, Deuce, I wouldn't be disappointed because I also do
Yeah.
feel like in the off season things will be cheaper as well.
I say truth, they do need to make a move. And it doesn't have to be a big one, but I just think, look, we're talking about, hey, Trey Lyles, backup 5. He needs to stay there. That's still not ideal. I think having some more size would be beneficial. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be right at the trade deadline.
Right.
Because they could have some flexibility with an open roster spot. Remember, they signed Deontay Burton to a 10-day contract to fill that last roster spot.
Yep.
But that expires before the trade deadline, meaning the Kings are giving themselves flexibility to add a player, whether it's via trade or they could go out in the buyout market and do something. And I think the Kings could be a candidate to go out on the buyout market and get something of need. So I do think adding something would be nice, but also like it's really expensive. And we talked about this
There you
yesterday,
go.
but the cost of getting something done at this point, you got to make a calculated decision. Is it worth giving up a future pick for that? Like that's the thing. Or do you more approach it from the buyout market?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at with all of this. And that's why I think there's a lot of people though out there that are like, you got to make a move. Otherwise you're not trying hard enough to push into the playoffs, into the postseason, blah, blah, blah. And there's other people who are like, please don't break this up. So there's so many people that have such opposite opinions. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't have a feel for it. But hey, if something happens with Matisse Thybulle, I'd be happy with it.
All right, next up on Truth or Trash, Morgan Reagan. It's time to look out for the Warriors. They have won 5 of their last 7 games.
Truth or trash?
A half game out of the 4th spot.
Time to look out for them.
Yeah, if you're the King, watch out. You're nervous
I'm
about
going to go
it.
truth. And don't count out Steph Curry. Like, don't count him out until he's gone. Right. I think we do the same thing for LeBron James at times, and it's fair. No matter how you feel about LeBron James, he's a baby. He throws tantrums, all these things. Yeah. He's also scoring over 30 points night in and night out. He's also dominant at getting to the rack. Sure, it's a team sport and he needs other pieces around him. But when I look at the Golden State Warriors, they've been there before. They still have Steph Curry. Draymond Green always scares me with all the stuff he always says in the beginning of the season. Like, it doesn't matter right now. It matters how we finish the season. He did that last season, then they won a championship. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, you just can't ignore the team. I think the reality is they have to prove they can win on the road. They did something they haven't done all year last night, and that was win back-to-back road games, which is just insane to consider. Morgan thinks that was very cute of them.
So cute.
So yeah, you can't ignore them. And the Kings, just keep doing your thing, man. If you could play around 500 basketball, I saw one of our guys on Twitter, I think it was Brett out there on social media, saying that if the Kings finish 17-16, which is one game above 500, they win 45 games. You win 45 games, you're going to end up in the top 6 this year. And that should be the goal. Just hang in the top 6, avoid the play-in. I didn't even think we'd be saying that at this point of this season. We are at February now. It's January 31st, tomorrow's February. But my point is the Kings are 28-21. What a position they're in.
What a position. I didn't think that they were going to be here. My expectations were so much lower. And it was more because of the Western Conference. And now this is when things get scary. You see teams start to figure it out. Even the Minnesota Timberwolves taking away one from the Kings. We thought it was going to be a split there in Minnesota. But at the same time, you're seeing teams get better and get healthier.
All right, next up on Truth or Trash, Morgan Reagan. With Brock Purdy out with a UCL injury for at least 6 months, 49ers need to think about going to the old man.
Truth or trash?
Tom Brady.
I'm going to go with trash.
Yeah.
And I said trash. When was this? Like 2 years ago before he was going to
a few years back.
Yeah,
Yep.
a couple years back. I said trash then. Regret that. Definitely regret that. Especially having to live on with Jimmy Garoppolo.
And Brady won a Super Bowl.
And Brady won the Super Bowl. And I was just like, okay, not too old, huh? we're to that point where you shouldn't be going in that direction, in my opinion. And I know you look at the situation that they're in now, Brock Purdy getting a second opinion on his elbow with everything going on there. Should he get surgery? But at the same time, if you go Tom Brady, is this a guy that's going to rally a locker room, or is this a guy that's going to get Wednesdays off at practice like he was getting when he was going through this divorce?
It's going to be hilarious, though, when they're like, hey, so Brock's not ready. We'll see what Trey looks like. Hey, Jimmy, welcome back.
So another 1-year deal. Like, what
Can
are
you
you gonna
imagine?
do?
You can't get rid of this guy. He is not going anywhere.
And I wouldn't care at that point and just be like, yeah, take care of the football. Just don't let him throw downfield.
I think there has to be some temptation by the Niners to like look into the Brady stuff. I think John Lynch is. I mean, they obviously considered it in the past. They considered it after going to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G. So it's not crazy to think about, they might consider it again here. It could be a last hoorah. He probably wants to do it. Brock's not ready to go. And you can make the case, hey, maybe you move on from Trey Lance. Maybe Tennessee wants him. Brock, let him get healthy. Let Brady run out the year, and then it's Brock's team. I don't know how the locker room would like that very much, because it seems like guys like McCaffrey and Kittle, they love what Brock Purdy has brought.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. I think you're with someone who not only are you able to kind of mold, he's young, he's a rookie, and he is coachable and good and seems like a good guy, right? But you're also with someone who is going to give it back to you. I think George Kittle talked a little bit about that before, where he knew Brock Purdy was the right one going forward when he talked smack back to him at practice or wherever it was. So I hate when teams go backwards, and they go backwards with big names, or they go backwards with just the way that they want to take a team in a completely opposite direction.
It's going to be fascinating to see how this plays out for the Niners. It seems like every year there's some question with the quarterback, and now because of this injury, more questions are coming up. Like, he's not going to be ready to go till like August. So it's missing some significant time. All right, coming up next, let's talk some more Kings. The Kings got a huge win in overtime against the Minnesota Timberwolves. How will they approach the trade deadline? Can they really hang out in the top 6 and actually just make the playoffs? We're going to catch up with our buddy, Sean Cunningham. That's live coming up next on Sactown Sports. Patrick's his top 4 seed, baby. Okay.
Oh.
Start Lance and roll with him. Dude, I just think even if you start with him at the beginning, fine, but look at what Purdy did. I mean, you can't ignore. You can't just like, he got hurt, so we're done with him. I mean, if the guy's healthy, I think he earned it.
I agree. But now, so if you do start with Trey Lance because he's healthier at that point, how do you...
It's a really bad situation, to be honest.
And how long have they been in these bad situations at quarterback?
It's insane.
It is. It's bizarre. It's for someone who is like a quarterback coach and offensive minded coach. It's pretty insane, the adversity that they've had to deal with when it comes to the quarterback position.
All right, I'll be right back. Tinkle time. Hit that thumbs up. Oh, are we really 29 away from 400?
It's tinkle time. You are a mad genius. My God, Chris. Get this man $1 billion raise. Love it. Just for that. Love. Oh my God. Oh, what did I see on the on Twitter? On Twitter, I saw from Joseph that Lindsay Lohan song is a banger, but you should have went with Rumors by Sacramento's own. I don't want to get the name wrong.
Club Nouveau.
Yeah. How do you know that?
Because we used to play it on Jason and Doug's show.
No. Yeah. Oh my God. Jason and Doug's show. God. Time flies, man. Okay. What's up, YouTube chat? Morgan, you can do a Lady Gaga cover? Yes, I can. But I wouldn't sound as good as her, obviously, because she's amazing, perfect, talented, beautiful in every way, shape, and form. But I could do a little bit of Lady Gaga.
Real fast.
Yeah.
How come no one gave love to my shirt I'm wearing today?
Maybe they don't love it.
Okay.
Oh,
they don't like a Jason Williams Slam magazine
How's
shirt.
this? Maybe they can't see it. Oh, no, you can see it clear. Yeah, I don't know.
Luke says, so crazy to watch a radio show on you. It's not a radio show.
Luke.
The show stays live during the breaks. Yeah. Do you confirm it or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I told him, come on. He's probably coming on right at 1. I'm going to tell him, come on when ready.
Leandro said, I'm going to need a new Slam t-shirt with the Beam Team. Dude, I got that one. It's coming in the mail.
Oh, with Fox and Sabonis?
Yes.
So cool.
Adrian, I have the same shirt on 2K. It cost me 10,000 VC. Damn, man.
What's 10,000 VC?
It's virtual currency. I think that's what it stands for.
Got it. Good job, Deuce. You're so cute. Luke said, no, but for real, I've never listened to the radio, but watching you guys on YouTube while I work is pretty slick.
I thought you were making a joke because I keep mentioning it's not a radio show. This is it's a show that happens to be on the radio and on YouTube.
Yeah.
And on the app.
We keep encouraging digital and everything. And obviously that's why we stay on during breaks, because it's it's just, there's so much more of a flow when you don't have to we'll be right back.
And 5 seconds. Stand by, guys. Chris's updates next.
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
This is Chris Verlot with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Sacramento Kings rebounded from Saturday's game to win 118-111 in overtime against the Minnesota Timberwolves. De'Aaron Fox scored a team-high 32 points. Sabonis and Keegan Murray both finished with a double-double. Trey Lyles led the Kings in scoring in overtime with 8 of his 11 points coming in extra time. Kings are off tonight. They'll be back in action tomorrow when they take on the San Antonio Spurs. You can listen to the game right here on Sactown Sports. Bad news for the 49ers. It came out yesterday that quarterback Brock Purdy suffered a complete UCL tear. He'll be out for the next 6 months. According to Adam Schefter, Purdy is looking for a second opinion to avoid surgery, but the team is recommending that he has it. It is 1 o'clock. This time check is brought to you by West Coast Men's Health Acoustic Wave Therapy. Now more of Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sactown Sports.
Monk now, deep three-point range, straight away, moves toward the left wing. Hesitates, crosses right, swings to Murray, gives to Fox, looks at the clock, 3 on the clock, inside, Trey Lyles wide open. Total defensive breakdown on the part of the Timberwolves, and De'Aaron Fox alertly found his man with less than 2 seconds on the possession. Here comes Russell. Transition 3. Heel of the rim. No good. Malik Monk climbs the ladder. We're down to 25 seconds to go. The Kings have a 2-possession lead.
That was big. A huge find. De'Aaron Fox to Trey Lyles. How about Trey Lyles with 8 points in the overtime session? The Kings get a nice overtime win over those cheap pups. 118-111. Hey, I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. We're, of course, live on 1140 AM, 96.1-2 FM if you're on the HD part or in an EV, I guess.
Good.
The app. But of course, we're live on YouTube, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. And we're welcoming in a guy. There's no one who has covered the Kings longer. He's worn the same hat since he started covering the Kings way back when. You see him on the Fox 40, the Kings Beat podcast. He's the one and only Sean Cunningham. Hi, Sean.
That is far too much fanfare, and there was a little bit of cap in that, but I appreciate the warm
There was
intro.
a cap. I literally mentioned your cap. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
hi,
Sean,
guys.
Do you go with the same hat a lot? No, or?
I try to do like the same style of hat, especially when it's TV neutral. But today, I kind of threw on a little color there for you. Same kind of little blue Hurley.
We appreciate you hanging out with us, Sean. Nice Kings win last night, man. 28-21. Seems like good vibes. What do you think of the win last night?
Pretty impressive. The bounce back. I think they did what they were supposed to do. You go in there to Minnesota and you're just hoping to basically split. I think that's the most ideal. But yeah, certainly they go in there and run into a little adversity. You get a lot of, problems along the way with officials, and Domas looked pissed from the beginning, and I kind of enjoyed that, showing a little bit of fire. The ejection thing was a little bit funny. I mean, obviously he wasn't ejected, but just obviously went in the tunnel to cool off, and I think a lot of people thought he was ejected.
I think are you sure? We don't know, do we?
I did a little bit of poking around, and it looked like they thought that he thought he just had to go blow off steam and cool off because it was within a dead ball situation. I don't know if I'm
know. I think he thought he got teed up. I thought there was a second technical called, and I guess that's like the challenge too. Is the broadcasters aren't traveling on this road trip, so they're in San Francisco. They're just going based on what they see. So I know we were all kind of left to what's happening. He comes back in, fouls out of the game at 53 seconds to go. But no, I'm with you. I dug the fire. It just felt like a competitive game, and it was like, all right, that first game in Minnesota, I felt like they were just not physical enough, especially defensively. They kind of got punked. I just thought they'd play a lot better basketball, and I was more encouraged by the defense than anything.
Well, especially from that second unit, man. I mean, you've had, I think when we talked earlier in the season, we were really loving what we saw from that second unit. They seemed to have – that was at a point where really Terrence Davis figured to be a part of the equation. And defensively, it was probably the best we'd seen them play. And I kind of go back to that Warrior game in San Francisco, that first one, where I felt, that was where they took some strides forward and things were really kind of cooking with that unit, and then it got wonky along the way. I think last night was a little bit more of true to form of what we had grown to expect from that unit, and certainly Terrence Davis, him playing the team defensive concepts are so much better without him, but individual defense, I mean, he can bring it, and I think someone like Malik Monk, who I think Kings fans would hope had turned a corner, he has really struggled with a shot of late, and really Mike Brown wasn't too concerned about his shooting woes as much as he is, but the turnovers is where the frustrations lie all the time. I love to see him attack the paint on the offensive end. I love to see him play make, and I really love the way he rebounds the ball. But I just feel like his swagger is so important to this team's success, and when you see him blending well with Trey Lyles, who just continues to impress. Man. I mean, that guy, I think they're getting a lot of house money out of him that they didn't anticipate having.
Yeah, I think with watching that game with Trey Lyles and the way that he stepped up last night, especially as soon as Domas fouled out, it seemed like, they could go in this direction when it comes to your backup center. Mike Brown was asked about it after the game, and he kind of pushed it to the side when we started talking about Chimezie Metu and still having Rashawn Holmes. How do you feel about Trey Lyles being that next guy up when it comes to the backup center?
I mean, he's kind of earned it in a way between him.
I agree.
Not to take away from Metu as well. I think both of those guys have earned the opportunity. You want someone to be able to rim protect ideally, but without a true rim protector on the team, you've got two guys that can at least make things, can kind of muck up the game a bit. And what I like, especially if you look in that overtime session, I mean, all five Kings offensively are playing out on the perimeter, and you're forcing a guy like Rudy Gobert to come out. And once he's come out, you just go right by him. And they did. I mean, Trey Lyles hit that corner three. I think Keegan hit a three, and then Lyles is back out on the perimeter again. Now Rudy has to go and protect, and he blew right by him for that dunk. So
that was a nasty jam, dude.
It really was. No, it really was. And Rudy was just left. I mean, he had to go out and contest, and it was, to see the Kings, because look, the Wolves were leaving them wide open on the perimeter, and they were feasting. They were taking advantage. So Trey, and I see it right there in your comment section, William. I mean, Trey's IQ is there. I mean, that's how the benefit of really having a veteran player like Trey Lyles on the team, who has just about seen everything, and now his body is in probably the best shape of his career. And he's a guy who's totally understood the role. And look, if he's not playing a week and a half from now, and he finds himself out of the rotation, his approach is still going to be just the same.
Sneaky athletic. He surprised me a couple of times or last week and a half with some of these jams. I'm like, where'd this come from? He had one game last week where he took off. I know it literally wasn't from the free throw line, but in my mind it was from the free throw line.
Yes.
And he dunked. I'm like, how did he do that?
some of his misses are even just as impressive. Like the fact that I was like, whoa, you really thought you could finish that? And then to see that he almost did. Yeah, pretty remarkable.
I think the other thing that jumped out to me from last night, it was Fox coming out aggressive from the get.
Yes.
And I know there's been so much made about his fourth quarters this year, clutch time, and his numbers are really good in that area. But I felt like they needed him to kind of set a tone yesterday, and he did that. It really from the get.
I wouldn't say that he had it circled on his calendar, but D'Angelo Russell has always been a guy that just kind of haunts the Kings a little bit, and everyone can remember that 27-point quarter. Yeah, I mean, Fox, I think, wants to erase that memory as much as possible because he hasn't really played well in a lot of those games. So yeah, I think he was kind of looking forward to this one. May have had it etched on his calendar, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, him in the fourth quarter, I know there's all that talk about him being this clutch player in the fourth quarter, and can he just let that be spread out among all quarters. Look, that dunk that he had in that first half, I think really kind of got him going. And, I can't kind of, reflect back on just the past month or so, and especially going from like Christmas time, that long home stretch, he has like these incredible dunks in like almost every single game that are really highlight worthy. And yeah, it's just been a lot of fun to watch, man. I really hope, for him and just the growth that he has, whether he gets named on Thursday to an All-Star reserve or not. I mean, I think he's changing the minds of national media, but even coaches, man. Like I've talked to a number of coaches who have, visiting and head coaches as well, who have come into the building over the past month or so to just really kind of get opinions on De'Aaron. And if I had those same conversations 2 years ago, they were remarkably different conversations.
That's what's wild about this season. The amount of things that he's elevated in his game, right? Not only his mentality, not only the way that he's clutch in the fourth quarters, or his confidence and defense and all these different things. But I was telling Deuce how I love the way it seems like the feel for the game has even elevated for him on such a different level. When he was going at Rudy Gobert last night and just feeling out where he was, and then the finesse off his fingertips and understanding when it needed to be a floater, when it needed to be a jump shot. I think that has taken a total leap this entire season.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that he's got a go-to move, and I think the last 2 years, he still doesn't get a lot of fouls called on him or called in his favor. And a lot of that I've argued in the past, and it's stuff that I've, talked to other people about is just the fact that he's gone to the paint looking to draw contact and not to score. And sometimes that goes against him, especially for a guy who's a little bit, light in the shorts, getting in into the paint so much. But this year is a little bit different. I think he uses his body better. I think he understands that, he can get a bucket wherever he wants around that paint and free throw extended. And to have those two types of go-tos when you've got a pressure valve, a release valve like Domas, is just incredibly it's a lot of support that he has. It's the most support he's ever had, and he's got shooters surrounding him too. So I think his confidence, just with the addition of those shooters and Domas there being that pressure release, is going a long way for him, and it allows him to take a few more chances. And man, I think all of that just builds up the confidence, and when he sees the ball go in the hoop, then it's going to even be the even more confidence that he needs to be that guy. And he was talking about early in the year, he feels like he can get a bucket whenever he wants.
Do you think he'll be named an All-Star?
I don't know, man. I to me, I think it doesn't matter. I know Kings fans would love to see 2 All-Stars in there, and look, they're up to 3rd now. It depends probably on when coaches turned in their votes, because I think some people may have already had their minds made, and if those were done over a month ago or maybe 3 weeks ago, then maybe not. But I think by virtue of them being so high, it's going to be really hard to keep them off. I look, the success of the team, we always say you have to have success in Sacramento or just put up crazy numbers to be an all-star out of Sacramento. DeMarcus Cousins was that way. He was the last all-star because of that. Domas is a shoo-in, obviously. But yeah, I think when you look at someone like Lillard, who's having just an unreal season, even though the team success isn't there, I think he's going to get rewarded by a lot of the coaches. And, maybe Fox can be this year's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because there's no way you're keeping Shai off that All-Star team, even though the Thunder haven't had the success they have. I think what's a shame is, the Pelicans are kind of plummeting. They've lost 9 of 10. They're down to 8th. Zion obviously is a popular player who gets voted in. So, yeah, man, I can see it. I can also not see it. And I've talked to people who think, Denver, because they're going to likely hold on to that number 1 seed, they should have 2 representatives from there. And it's Aaron Gordon is having a hell of a season defensively as well. And coaches like to reward defense. So, if he doesn't, I don't think it's a failure. And look, I think it would be fine to see Fox take some time off. Rasay, his wife is due right around that time. So we'll see, man. We'll see. If I was to say it, yeah, sure, I think he should be there. But it's hard to keep some of those other guys off. And with injury replacements, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think Anthony Edwards is making a legit case too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been outstanding. And the T-Wolves are seemingly playing their best basketball without Cat. Which is crazy to think about too. Just that fit's been so weird. Sean,
by the way, if I'm Alex Rodriguez and I'm buying the Minnesota Timberwolves like I just did, my first move is when I can, I'm trading Karl Anthony Towns immediately. I'm getting him the hell off the team.
100%.
Thank you.
100%. But they gave him an extension for some bizarre reason. Right?
Well,
like,
I think
the first thing they do is give him an extension and trade for Gobert. It was asinine. Like, they move on from Cat, and you could obviously he's talented, but he can't be your guy. The fit is super clunky. I don't know. I think it's an off-season thing, but they should definitely look to move on.
I agree, for sure.
A question for you. I found like the most random stat today, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just a stat. So the Kings' defensive rating at home is 28th. On the road, it's 6th.
Yeah.
It's strange. Why do you think that is? Do you have any theories?
Well, I mean, they're 2 games over 500 on the road right now, where they've played for the most part of the season at a 500 level. I just think, when you win more games than you lose, your defensive rating looks better. I also think, I don't have any answer for it really. I mean, I think that I think the transition has been there. Their half court offense is really, in my opinion, really bad. Perimeter shooting is what it is. I think the perimeter defense is better than what we've seen in years past. But my whole thing is, look, you don't have to be top 10, even top 15. If they can even just get to 20th in the league, that's going to show some growth in the way they are on offense. This fast-paced, efficient, fun-loving, ball-sharing offense, that'll be enough to sustain success, in my opinion. So I know they don't want their identity to be what it is on the offensive end, to overwhelm the identity of the basketball team. But at the end of the day, it's kind of what you're built for. And so I think they've put good things in place. I think some good things have even trickled over from previous regimes. No lie. And
like what?
Yeah. Like, share, please.
What?
It doesn't happen overnight, and you have to instill good work habits. Okay, and
I don't want anything from the past.
Hey, you be nice. Go on, Sean.
I will talk about how previous regimes would say you're really building the success for the guy who replaces you. And I'm not saying I'm not taking away anything from Mike Brown, because Mike Brown has a system and really has an attention to detail. So it's a fine tuning of things that were behaviors that were in place, even with a lot of your pieces. And I'll use De'Aaron Fox because he is probably the one where it needed to matter the most. And I think you kind of reap some of the benefits of some of those teachings. Now, again, everything is the details are everything, and Mike Brown is the OCD detail coach that this Sacramento Kings needed.
You're really nice.
You're not so bad yourself.
I don't necessarily agree, and I'm not trying to be dramatic. But it was. I mean, you look at everything with the past regime in the past couple of years. As fans, you go depressing. As people that cover the team, you go, what? Like, this isn't sustainable in any professional sports leagues or teams or anything. And I get what you're saying. Like, De'Aaron Fox was there, and the tweaks are to put things around him. But at the same time, it was like there needed to be brand new everything, right? There was
Yeah.
no foundation. There was no culture. There was no, like, De'Aaron didn't even have an identity of what type of player he was. We just knew he was fast. You know, we didn't even know if he could lead or if he needed to be a number one guy. And I think it's so great that now you're seeing, not only because of roster construction, but because of what's been in place with a head coach, like, there's so many things that can change for this entire team. Now,
it's bigger than the head coach. I mean, what I was kind of alluding to was like the teachings of Rico Hines. Like, it's woven in the identity and the fabric of this organization. It's not just the players, man. It's like the organization looking at what it needs to be a successful team. You know, the players are one thing, the organization is another. And you have two different pages. And I think someone like Rico, who really tries to bring that together and have, again, he was so impactful on both the organization and players as well, that it changed the DNA. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's easy to hear someone hear what I'm saying and they go, oh, he's talking about Dave Yeager or Luke Walton. It's like, no, it's bigger than that. There's coaching staffs that really help change and mold players' work ethics and their beings and the way they approach being a professional basketball player.
And they just took it to another level. I hear what you're saying.
Correct.
For sure. Now we got to get to this fun part, because I feel like this time of the year, it's like, hey, NBA trade deadline's coming up. We see the news. I guess it's more like a rumor from Mark Stein about, hey, gauging interest in the availability of Matisse Thybulle. Do you think the Kings make a move at the trade deadline?
Yeah, I think they do. I don't know. It'll be, I think there's a move they'd like to make and probably several. I don't know that they can pull some of those off, but
do you have some names that we should look forward to, Sean?
What you got, Sean?
Yeah, Sean, what you tell us, huh?
Not really that. Like, thinking about, you can look at, hey, we need we being the Kings, they're saying, hey, we need obviously a 3-and-D or a stretch 5 or a rim protector or anything like that to help Domas. Those are things you would like to add. I don't know that you can go out there and get the type of player you want to add, if that makes sense, based on what you're willing to pass up. As I was trying to fix my computer here and listen to you guys, you were playing Truth or Trash, and you were saying, Truth or Trash, do they have to make a trade? And no, that's trash. They don't. I mean, and clearly they've been able to reach third place in the Western Conference without having to make a trade. Now, that being said, you might be, 3.5 games behind Memphis at number 2, but you're also 3.5 games from, I think, 10th or 9th. So
scary.
It gets to the point where it's like, should you, because do some of these moves equate to wins and losses? And I know, I do a podcast where the name Miles Plumlee comes up about 4 times a minute, and I just I shrug at it because, yeah, in theory that would be great, but let's go back to where the Kings traded, Amon Shumpert, who wasn't really this super impactful player on the court, and you're bringing in somebody like Harrison Barnes, which obviously talent for talent is much better, but there's no statistic or analytic really for chemistry. So in doing so, you really kind of fractured a big portion of that locker room, and it was never the same. So, there's guys out there certainly that could, you look at, I don't know if they equate to wins and losses, but yeah, the Matisse Thybulle, it obviously makes sense. He's a defensive player. Look at someone like Josh Richardson. Look at somebody like Darius Bazley, who hasn't really made an impact in this league at all, but you look at him as a name out there that is going to be approaching restricted free agency, and there could be something there. Even somebody like JaVale McGee, who doesn't really factor in Dallas at all, yet he can be a rim protecting type of player. Is it the right move? Probably not, but all these names will be circulated, and it's really going to be up to all these teams who've positioned themselves by virtue of a play-in tournament to be buyers at the trade deadline. So, it's sometimes the other team's trash is another man's trash is another man's treasure. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but we'll see as my heater kicked on. Sorry, guys. It's about 61 in this room.
You're fine, but honestly, when it kicked on, it kind of sounded like that Home Alone.
It did. It sounded like the Home Alone noise for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, you were at the NFC Championship game in Philly. I wanted to get to this, man. You've been at a lot of games over the years. Was that one of the most bizarre things you have ever witnessed in person?
100%. And I was asked, I was asking players, have you ever seen anything like that? Because to me, it reminded me of I've covered a lot of high school basketball or high school football as well in this region. there are teams that don't have kickers and they always have to go for two. And this was their version of that, not having a quarterback that could throw the ball, and you know that they're going to be running the ball the entire time. It was just surreal. You don't see that in the NFL, and it totally I mean, you just look at these guys on the sidelines, man. Their faces are long. They know that, look, they're professional athletes. They're going to accept the challenge, and even being down 4 scores, they're going to have the confidence they can come back and win. That's what they're going to tell you. Their faces said otherwise. I mean, they looked like they were just absolutely doomed, and we were trying to prognosticate, like, okay, what's this game going to look like in the NFC Championship in Philadelphia? And in the first quarter alone, it was all out the window. It was out the window because Brock Purdy was out, and that's fine. Here comes Josh Johnson, and he didn't set the world on fire. He looked like a mess the minute he got out on the field as well. Fumbles the ball, has 2 delayed games. I mean, the Philly crowd played a huge role in that. He didn't look ready. First postseason action since he came into the league back in 2009, bro. That is crazy. Think about that. It's crazy that the guy has been around. He's a former Sacramento Mountain Lion, for crying out loud.
I mean, give him credit. There's something teams see in them to keep them around if they keep bringing them back.
Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy. I don't know. I mean, it's weird because everyone pokes on. He's been on so many teams. I'm like, yeah, but a lot of times if you don't bring anything to the table, you're not going to be on an NFL roster for any amount of time. It's kind of crazy to think about that.
And Sean, really quick too. I mean, rumor has it that you played quarterback in high school. So were you at any point of this game going like, Shanahan, put me in, coach?
He sets a camera down, starts immediately warming up.
Two things. That's kind of cap because I was a tight end, but I was the 3rd string quarterback, much like Kyle Juszczyk was the freaking emergency quarterback.
Okay.
Is there an emergency that gets even remotely worse than what we saw in that NFC Championship? Why wasn't Kyle Juszczyk put out there to even throw once? Instead, you're going to throw with freaking McCaffrey?
Thank you.
What are they doing?
That's
I don't know.
hilarious.
To me, it was Kyle Shanahan saying, "Yeah, we didn't really practice this. This isn't." I mean, what are you going to do, man? I mean, throw Juszczyk out there and just kill him? I don't know. It's just...
Man, that's so rough. All right, I know we're up against on the radio side. We can hang out with Sean for a second on the stream, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to keep it live on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. We'll be back on the radio side in just a few minutes here on Sactown Sports. We're good, Chris? Okay.
Sweet.
Hi, Sean. We'll let you go in a
guys.
second, too. I just didn't want to awkwardly all right, Sean, we have to go. It's like my least favorite thing
How
about being
loud
back
was
on the
that
radio.
heater? I usually
You can hear it right now. You can definitely hear it right now.
If it was on like from the beginning, I'd just be like, oh, that's just like the sound that's there.
I
White
tried
noise.
to block it. By the way, I saw your chat there. I graduated Elk Grove. I didn't play football at Elk Grove. I was at Douglas High School before that, but
Shout out Douglas High School, Nevada.
Ryan
right?
Dinwiddie was amazing. Yeah, I went there to play baseball for 3 years and then came back.
Yeah,
because I sucked.
So you hey, what? Here's a theory. Do you think the Kings are keeping that open roster spot to mate? Well, it's not open right now. Deontay Burton has it, but obviously that deal expires before the deadline.
Right.
Do you think there's a chance they could look at the buyout market potentially?
Yeah, they could. I think they're especially with the way that with all the trade exceptions that they have. There's a lot of things they can get creative with, but it takes 2 to tango, right?
Hey, I like that you're
Son
saying
of
no. And Sean, that's my other thing too. I'm glad that you were saying trash because look, there's going to be teams that are trying to take away certain pieces from the Sacramento Kings that are just not going to make sense for Monty McNair to move, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you identified what your expendable pieces are, and I just like for let's use Rashawn Holmes for an example. Like, is he? If you're a team in any other NBA team, are they looking at him? Oh, we need Rashawn Holmes.
Right?
Like, and again, you're looking at him as an asset. The contract is what it is. You got to pay him money. No one wants that contract. So, yeah, I think it's tough. It's just really tough to be able to move some. Like even Alex Len, like you can find money to free up and you can find a team that's willing to do so. But I think what the problem is there's just not enough sellers necessarily. At least it has been identified. A lot can happen in a week. Like, look at someone like Toronto. Toronto's got all those pieces that can just work so well on other teams. And can they do it? Can they, would you sell the farm for OG Anunoby and even more so for Pascal Siakam? So,
yeah. The Kings couldn't do those deals. They just couldn't.
No.
Because, hey, goodbye, Keegan.
Yeah.
I'm keeping Keegan.
Forever.
I think he's really good. And I think he's going to get even better. I mean, even the growth this year has been insane.
I'll say this: if it was Siakam, it's fine, take him. But
no, 29-year-old Siakam.
I love Siakam.
I like him
too.
too.
Put Siakam around Domas, and you're looking at a team that could contend for a Western Conference Finals.
Sean,
don't say
I
that.
love positive Sean.
They need an absolute star at the 3, and I think that could. Every team has them. All the good teams have them.
Wow. Sean, I appreciate you hanging out for a few minutes, man. We'll have you
Anytime.
on again soon. And hopefully we see you soon, man.
Sean, how many Lindsay
Chris.
Lohan albums did you own?
How many
Lindsay Lohan albums did you own?
Oh, because you guys played that song. I heard
Yes.
that song. I didn't have a Lindsay Lohan album.
God.
But I did see Mean Girls, Deuce. Get on. What are you doing?
Yeah.
How do you not see Mean Girls?
Yeah, that's
Thank
kind
you.
of
Again, here we go. This is classic Sean.
Yeah, where's
making
James
fun
Ham?
of people who don't see movies. You guys
Well,
see
that's
every movie.
That's one you need to see. That's required viewing.
Okay, I'm gonna get right on that. Best part of that movie, probably Rachel McAdams.
Tina Fey is on line 1.
She's not in that movie. That's made
She
up.
she made up the movie.
Did she really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, she wrote it.
And
Wow.
thank you. I was like, what's the word?
I don't know movies.
She made it up.
Okay, Sean, we will. Chris is doing an update too, so we'll let
All
you
right.
go. But
Bye,
we'll
Sean.
talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on with us, Sean. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Bye.
Also, I don't think we can get there. We are 11 away from 400. It doesn't feel like it's feasible.
They're really screwing me with this.
It doesn't feel feasible that they can get to 400 thumbs up in the YouTube chat, but maybe you can because we stay live during YouTube on YouTube during the break. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. We have some breaking NFL news, by the way. Did you see it?
Are you being serious?
I'm dead serious. Sean Payton is going to the Broncos as their next head coach. Remember, he left the Saints. Does TV for years. Now they're working on draft compensation with the Saints. So Russell Wilson gets a legit coach. He goes from Nathaniel Hackett, who couldn't manage a game to save his life, gets blown out after not even a full season. Now Sean Payton back in the NFL with the Denver Broncos. And he had some interesting things to say about Russell Wilson just a few months back. So we'll go over that too. D'Amico Ryans.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. Breaking news in the NFL, the Saints and Broncos are finalizing compensation in return for Super Bowl winning head coach Sean Payton. This is according to Adam Schefter of ESPN. Last night, the Sacramento Kings rebounded from Saturday's game to win 118-111 in overtime. De'Aaron Fox scored a team-high 32 points. Domantas Sabonis had a double-double, and also Keegan Murray had a double-double. Lyles led in overtime. He scored 8 of his 11 points in the extra frames. Kings are off tonight. They'll be back in action tomorrow when they take on the San Antonio Spurs. You can listen to that game right here on Sactown Sports. It is 1:29. This time check is brought to you by West Coast Men's Health Acoustic Wave Therapy. And now more of Deuce and Mo.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sactown Sports app.
Just got to trust the process sometimes. We got to give love to the Deuce bags and morons who continue to support this show. It's on a different channel.
Are you kidding?
We have done something, the unthinkable. I said it couldn't be done today.
You said it.
I said that there's no way.
Mm-mm.
On the YouTube page at youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140, we hit over 400 thumbs up, which is massive because all it does is help the channel grow. People are hitting subscribe. They're hitting the thumbs up. They want more content. Appreciate the support from all of you guys. So thank you. You know what? I will not doubt you again until tomorrow. So thank you so much. Oh, is this 400?
Yeah.
0. Turn down for what? Oh! 400 for what? Appreciate you guys, the YouTube crowd. That got me, Chris. That got me. Okay, Morgan, your hair is all over the place. Chris played the sound to celebrate 400. I thought it was just a dismal like explosion. I got disappointed. Music hits, classic Verlaud.
That was
Yeah.
Chris Verlaud. These are the times when I've already said this. He deserves $1 billion raise.
We need to get some breaking news in the sports world. That's why I love being live Monday through Friday.
When it breaks,
We have it first.
it's Sactown Sports breaking news.
I love that. Well, when it breaks, we have it first, except Schefter had it like 10 minutes ago.
We have it second.
We have it like 20th. But we are talking about a couple of big stories in the coaching world. Number one, this one not a surprise, but it is official. DeMeco Ryans leaving the 49ers. The awesome defensive coordinator getting a gig. Congratulations to him.
Yes.
He gets a 6-year deal to be the Texans head coach. Good luck going to Houston, but I'm happy for DeMeco Ryans. Did amazing work with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep, deserves it. We already know all of that stuff. 6 years. That's a commitment.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a coach, you want a legit opportunity to turn it around. You don't want, oh, here's a 3-year deal. Like, give me the chance to do things and establish a culture and identity. That Houston Texans team obviously needs that after having the year they did. Next, Morgan, probably the biggest story in the sports world, I guess, today. But, well, second, right? Kings win over the T-Wolves in overtime, number one here.
Correct.
We light the beam. It's number one. Nothing can top that.
No.
For the Broncos, what a disappointing year they had, right?
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, this big trade. Look out for Wilson. I looked out. It was not good to see. They had Nathaniel Hackett, a first-year head coach last year. It was bad. He had no idea what was going on. It was like, I can't figure out how.
He lied to get the job. He said, I am this offensive guy. I understand.
Well, I mean, he's a good offensive coordinator, head coach. He couldn't manage a game to save
I was
his
going to
life.
say, he couldn't manage a clock. He couldn't manage a lot of things.
Well, Morgan Reagan. He is no longer in charge there, as we know. So they're searching for a new coach. Sean Payton is back in the NFL. He has agreed, finalizing a deal with the Denver Broncos. So the Saints and the Broncos have discussed a couple of packages in the deal. And apparently, Denver is giving up a 2023 first-round pick and next year's second-round pick for Sean Payton and the Saints' 2024 pick. So they literally are trading a first-round pick in this year's draft to get the rights to Sean Payton, as he could maybe be the savior to help turn this around, maybe get the most out of Russell Wilson. Pretty crazy.
Yes, it is. I mean, obviously, Sean Payton's resume, it's good. I get it. At the same time, it is always interesting when you have to make a trade like that, a first round pick, when you obviously still need to make your own upgrades with your roster. But at the same time, happy for Sean Payton. I thought he was super nerdy on television, so I'm glad to see it.
Shots fired at Sean Payton. Sean Payton was asked about Russell Wilson earlier this year on a show, and he talked about how he would approach things. He says, you correct the flaws immediately. Then we don't worry about how long the process is going to take. In other words, I want to cut up today. I want to cut up all of Russell's pass plays of 30 or more yards from the field. And I want to see, are these some of the schemes that he felt very comfortable with? He says, like, they did a great job in Seattle of bringing him off and naked boot and then pulling up. And we all saw that throwback to Tyler Lockett across the field where the ball traveled for 60 yards in the air. So he wants to look at some of those things. He also brought up Wilson's execution in high leverage situations is something he'd take a hard look at. He says, I'd want another film of red zone touchdown passes inside the 20. And what I'm asking for from assistants is I'm asking for some of his greatest hits. And I'm seeing if we have those song lyrics available. And if not, I'm putting them in. So obviously his mission number one is to get the most out of Russell Wilson because of everything they gave up to get him. And now they gave up significant draft compensation to get Sean Payton as their head coach.
And I believe that Russell Wilson still has so much left in the tank, right? Like,
you would think.
I mean, how many times did we see him with the Seahawks and there's barely an offensive line and he's creating everything he can with his offense, with his feet, with his arm. Like, he's a smart quarterback and he can create so much. Yes, I do believe still in Russell Wilson. Go Hawks.
Or what's he say now? Like Bronco?
Yeah.
What's it? I forget their little catchphrase.
Right on.
Ugh.
I don't know.
By the way, championship ratings came out. We were blown away last week at the ratings. AFC Championship game, 53 million people watch. It peaked at 59.3 million. The NFC Championship, obviously that game was weird, right? 47.5 million, and it peaked at 52.3.
And then right after the half, everybody left. Probably right after the first quarter, everybody left.
That is pretty insane.
That if you really think about that many people having that game, that football game on,
just means so much. Play football, the intensity, right? There's just something special about it that you enjoy. And now we got like 2 weeks till the big game.
For sure. No, I even think about like friends that I have that aren't even into football, and they're like, but we're having a Super Bowl party. And I go, okay, well, I can come for the beginning, but then I have to leave as soon as the game starts because I have to actually watch it.
We've been talking a lot about the Kings win last night. And next up for Sacramento, I think they can keep this rolling to take it on a Spurs team who lost last night to the Wizards. The Wizards won a game in San Antonio for the first time since 1999. They only go there once a year, but a pretty wild streak. So the Spurs team, obviously banged up, obviously not that good to begin with. Got to keep this ball rolling, Morgan. This is, I know I looked at this road trip and I was like, I think they can go 5-2. Last night's win over Minnesota gave me a lot more confidence in the rest of this road trip. They play like they did last night. They may not lose a game again on this road trip.
Isn't it crazy when you see a game like we did Saturday night against the T-Wolves and you're like, you lose all confidence, right? I think there's so many Kings fans out there that are like, the season is over, but it's okay. Then they play like they did last night. Sean was even talking about it. It looked more like their identity, what type of team they really are. And I truly believe that they can carry that type of performance for the rest of this road trip. It's not going to be easy. What did they do so well last night? Sure, you can say it was the defense, but what it was, they were locked in here mentally. I'm pointing at my forehead where my brain should be located.
Yes, that's where I think it is. I think you're right on that. Yeah. How do you get that type of... Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Not how do you get it. Can you expect defense like that from Sacramento, that level of engagement? I mean, we're not talking about lockdown. This was like one of the premier defensive performances in history. They still they gave up a 36-point quarter in the second quarter, but based on the pieces this team has, do you think that this team can keep that level of defense up on a more consistent basis? Like, is it luck or was that real last night?
It's real. It's true. It's not easy to be that locked in, to be that engaged through 4 quarters, every single game with different matchups, doing your homework and understanding personnel like that. It just takes a different level of studying and brain power when you don't have a whole bunch of dominant defensive figures on your squad. It really does take, when people say it takes a village, it takes a team. It takes a team defense to play at that level, being locked in. I mean, this is obviously very much on a different level, but when I played on different teams where the coach, it was like intense and it was all about being disciplined, right? And you stuck to every single thing fundamentally. You ran your lane here. Your foot is over here when the ball's over there. I mean, it was like precise and it was kind of weird at times, but then it translated to just such great basketball against teams that you would think we would never beat, and we would, because it was just like a system all in place, everyone moving on a string together, locked in, buying in.
Kings play the Spurs Wednesday. Friday they play the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton's been out for a while. He was at practice today. Sounds like he's going to be back Thursday for the Pacers when they take on the Lakers. Now they play the Kings on Friday. Will he play in the second night of a back-to-back after injury? I don't know. But Tyrese Halliburton may be available for that Friday game against the Kings, looking for revenge on the home floor.
Yeah, I would love to see another game with Tyrese Halliburton, but at the same time, I would not, because I want the Kings to just like get the win, just get the W on this road trip. And we've seen what Tyrese Halliburton has added to the Pacers record. How many games have they lost without him playing within this time that he's been injured? It hasn't looked good for the Pacers. He is their identity to this team.
Coming up next, we got closing time. We'll wrap up the show, and I have a very important question for Kings fans. We'll do that straight ahead. It's Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. YouTube chat. Paul says you guys are wild.
No, you.
Yeah, we try to have fun, man. Big John says, I'm at lunch just chatting with y'all, but I have the volume down because I'm at a restaurant and I am thoroughly entertained. Appreciate you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Homer says, I love how in the studio you both are like stepbrothers. So much room for activities. You know what? It is, when we do the podcast at home, it's like we're so
Like this.
close to each other that, yeah, it does feel freeing to be able to move around a little bit.
Like we're not going to hit each other. We're not going to knock things over.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Make sure if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet in the chat, hit the thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Subscriptions on this channel have blown up, which is great to see. The thumbs up have been big. Purple and Black Pill says, really hope Tyree shows up in his black parachute pants and walks in like the Terminator again.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like the big pants. I'm not going to lie. I don't like it on everybody, but when you I
can't have that.
Trust me, low-rise pants came
All right.
back for women.
I
And
just
I'm like,
don't want
nice try.
I just don't want to get to a point where I have to wear something.
You
like
don't.
that, to be like trendy. I don't want to be like out of touch.
No. Don't. I do high-waisted. Even if high-waisted go out, I don't care. It sucks in the fat. Feels great doing it.
That's great.
Like, I don't care. Skinny jeans are technically out for women. And
I'm glad we're learning this.
Yes.
This is key stuff.
Oh, no. And I don't care. I'm going to wear skinny jeans when I want to. But I also did buy some wide leg jeans as well. But they're just more, they're not as flattering unless you're wearing them with like a good sneaker or heel. So, but look at me. Do I look like I know what I'm talking about?
No.
like a bum. '90s mom jeans are in, says Mike. Yeah.
I'm sure Mike knows. I'm sure he's very locked in.
Yeah,
right?
no, he seems like someone that would totally know.
Oh man.
Love a good man's opinion on that. I'm kidding, Mike.
Wow, this Beam Team Sack dude just did this cool artwork. That's pretty cool.
What? That's
Give that
dope.
some love.
Dude, there's some great Sacramento artists.
Yeah, artists are in a crazy mode with the Beam.
Music,
Again,
to
pictures. Yeah, it's cool.
3D printing.
I'm telling you, it brings people together.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, my brother on the family chat was like, I was talking to some guy who was saying it's like a there's something very spiritual about the Beam. And I'm like, when it lights up the city, it lights up our hearts. Like, truly.
All it means is your team won, just to be clear.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when the team wins, the city wins. And when the city wins,
we all win.
The world wins.
Appreciate the love, Dave. Thank you so much. Carlos says, do you think Vezenkov comes to see the Beam next year? I don't know, man. I think he's playing really well in the Euro League. What is his role? I think if he comes to the NBA, it's not just like for a payday. It's because he wants a significant role. And I think the Kings would have to determine what is his role at the NBA level. Can he be a starter in the league, or is he a bench guy? And would he have to be comfortable with a bench role? I don't know that we know the answer. Luke says, every week I see more and more Kings gear on the kids at elementary school. Such bandwagon fans. They probably all rooted for Steph last year. That's fine. Be bandwagon fans. That'd be cool to switch it out. I mean, there's been a generation of missed opportunities where fans are like, yeah, I'm going to root for Steph and the Warriors or Giannis and the Bucks or LeBron, whatever.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
We got Cattles and Rami following us each and every day on Sactown Sports. They're going to be live just like us on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140, where the chat is rolling. We appreciate all the love there. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're talking a lot about the Sacramento Kings and that win last night. It was a big time win. I think it was one of their better performances this season, a performance that gave me a little hope that, they can respond from some adversity, that they could play one brand of basketball in that first game against Minnesota and then come out and go, no, we're going to play with physicality now. We are capable of playing some better defense, and De'Aaron Fox knew he needed to be aggressive from the start. He was outstanding yesterday.
Can I be honest, Deuce?
What? Yes, please.
We do this every time the Kings have a game like this, usually after the bench produces.
Mm.
And I'm not acting like that's a good thing, right? You want consistency from your bench, but how many times have we said in losses where you need more from your bench? You need, you need a different backup big. It's always the same things. Like the identity stays the same in the losses, but in the wins, same kind of concept. The defense is usually pretty locked in. And then the bench production is usually at a higher level. And sometimes it's not even with the points. It's with Malik Monk bringing his energy. Terrence Davis in his few minutes being efficient.
I'm glad that we have not talked about Terrence Davis enough today.
No.
And Terrence is someone that I feel like we've seen glimpses of someone who could really help a team. And I know it's a numbers game. You have so many guards on this team. We knew it was going to be an issue when you have Herter and Monk and Mitchell. You got Fox. You got TD. Where does it all fit in? Terrence Davis's peak this year had to have been that game against the Nets on national TV when he was amazing for the Kings, right?
Right.
With a 30-plus point game. Since then, he's been kind of in and out of the rotation. He makes some team defensive mistakes. Brown yanks him pretty fast. I appreciate what he brought yesterday. You know, he brings a level of energy. He hit some big threes last night. Again, another example where players on this team could be pouting. They could be disengaged. They could be sitting there upset. This guy comes in, he's ready to go. And I hope he earns some minutes after this, because I think one area that for Mike Brown that I've been a little critical of is like when a guy plays well, he doesn't play the next game. I keep referencing Rashawn Holmes and what he did
Against
in
Lakers.
LA when Sabonis was out. One defensive player of the game from the coaching staff, and then doesn't really play.
I love what you said, though, about guys staying ready and buying in and cheering on their team. But then also when they do get the call, they get in and they show something else. That's what you want to see. Mike Brown has done a great job of building that foundation. I think Mike Brown also as a coach shows a lot of love and a lot of tough love. But it is surprising at times when a guy shows up and it's not even like there's too many mismatches out there. I don't like who they're going to match up against. It's like Rashawn Holmes, the following game after when he had a perfect game from the field and won defensive player of the game, it was shocking to see him not even get rewarded with hey, I trust you a little bit more. And so with Terrence Davis being out of the rotation for so long, and then at times you're seeing KZ Okpala go in before him because they're like, let's throw in this long defensive player. Well, why aren't you trying out TD? And you're seeing when TD gets some minutes, he got 16 last night. He finished with 8 points, but also that one steal, even that steal adding to their 15 season high steals was just a great addition.
All right, let's squeeze in Jeremy real fast. What's up, Jeremy?
Deuce and Mo. I just want to call you. I haven't heard you for a while on the radio. I was trying to call in last week to give you guys some love, so I want to trash Chris Verlot a little bit right now.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I called in last week, and I was basically saying the same thing. You know, I called in. I was talking to him off air. I said, you know, I want to tell Deuce and Mo how much I love this new lineup and give props to 1140 for changing the lineup and making it all Sacramento. And he hung up on me in the middle of my call. So maybe he has a little bit of a hater or something. Maybe he's like a closet hater on you guys or something.
No,
You know,
anti-Sacramento. He's anti-Sacramento. He's never liked Sacramento.
No,
I could tell that.
He talks about how much he hates it in Sacramento. So this could be it.
Well, Jeremy, I appreciate you giving us love, my man. We're up against it, but thank you so much for listening. Spread the word.
I love you guys. And hey, Chris, I'm just kidding, man.
Oh.
You did hang up on me, but I mean, come on.
I want to do it again.
Oh, oops.
Oh.
He's gone. All right. It's that time. It's closing time. Closing time.
Time for never guys.
Time for all these topics at once.
Yeah. I know who I want to take me home.
So this is usually when we get to topics at the end of the show. I have some topics for you, Morgan.
Yeah.
Emil Fergosa covers the 49ers here. We had him on the show yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought we had a good vibe with him.
Same. Oh, this is a great
kid.
Yeah.
So today, he comes into the building
Yeah.
for work.
Huge
Kings fan.
Huge Kings fan.
Giant Kings fan.
Yeah.
He is wearing a Luka Doncic jersey.
Say what?
My question, is it acceptable for a huge Kings fan to be wearing a Luka Doncic jersey?
You already know.
Hell no, right, Chris?
My answer.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. So this is it's not a Real Madrid Luka.
No, it's a Dallas Mavericks one. A game after the Kings won last night. He's wearing a Luka 77.
Is that acceptable in any way, shape, or form?
Acceptable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I agree. And I just think, I really enjoyed our time with him, but now I'm going to have to think twice if I even want to look at him in the eyes when I pass him in a hallway.
Can't wait for him to roll in with the Robert Horry jersey tomorrow.
Oh,
I used to like him back in the day.
You're sick, man. You're sick.
Who else?
Yeah. No, but here's my thing. You don't do that.
No.
You don't do that. Now, I do understand if you are a big fan of that individual player, you buy the jersey, you keep it in your closet, and you never take it out.
Just to be clear, he's a Kings fan.
He's a Kings fan.
Insane.
Yep.
Speaking of insane, Luka did have his fourth 50-point game of the season. We're up to 19 50-point games in the NBA this year, which matches last year's total for the season. Morgan Reagan, question for you. What Kings player is the best candidate to score 50 in a game?
Let's go Domas Sabonis.
Really?
I
think it's Fox.
Well, you could go De'Aaron, and obviously with his ability to shoot from the outside, but I'm just going like Sabonis dominating inside on the paint where like he's just cooking, but then also having those second chance opportunities with the offensive rebounds. One of those nights for Domas.
All right, last one for you. Anthony Edwards from the T-Wolves claims to eat 21 bags of Chester's hot fries a week.
Yeah.
One, do you believe that?
Okay.
And also, what is something you could eat like just a ton of, like kind of to that level?
So the reason why I do believe that, because yes, I could do the same when it comes to ice cream. I could eat ice cream for breakfast. I could eat ice cream for lunch. I could eat ice cream for pre-dinner. I could eat ice cream for dinner. Did I stutter?
No.
Nah.
I mean, ice cream's pretty good.
Thank you.
See, growing up like I did, healthy food in our house was not a thing. So if there's something bad in my house, it's game on. I can't control myself.
What
I can't
would it be for you though? Doritos?
Any chips, ice cream, chocolate, Kool-Aid, anything bad, I want it. So that's why I don't have it in the house. Is there anything for you, Chris?
I gotta think about that. But you asked the first question do I believe it? I 100% believes that he did that.
Yeah.
My little cousin can throw down Takis, like no joke.
So good, but then your tongue hurts.
To where his doctor is just like, dude, stop eating these.
Okay, when your doctor's coming in and going, hey, you got to slow it down. That's
his coach at soccer practice, like, don't eat this before you start to play.
Oh,
He should just shove some in his broccoli and then like a combo, and then you're fine, right?
I would say I could throw down. I don't know. I'm just like one of those people. Like if I see it, oh, that's what I want. I want that right now.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh, you know what? Sweet tart ropes.
That is random, and I love it. We'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Anthony Slater from The Athletic joins us, and coming up next, it's Cattles and Rami. We love you guys. What?
You're gonna have to listen to Cattles and Rami to see what happens.
We love you guys, but we got to go. See ya.